What's up, guys? Adam Green with No More News. It is Friday, May 22nd, 2026. Huge show again today. Amalek is back. Going to be discussing the newest Demon Disclosure Day drop. The biblical scholar Robin Faith Walsh interviewed, brand new interview on Jesus Mythicism that Amalek clipped up. We're going to cover some of the new Return to the Land Arvel lawsuit. And Tulsi Gabbard has breaking news. Tulsi Gabbard has just resigned. Gonna get into that. And the edit Amalek just made her. What's up? Made of her. What's up, Amalek? Thanks for being here.
I can't see or hear anything, so you gotta fix that. That's why I didn't know we were starting.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Oops.
I had no idea we were even on. That's funny.
Okay.
Anyway, what's up, dude? I'm ready to go over this stuff.
Yeah, let's get that turned on for you.
Ready to go over some of this stuff.
Mm-hmm. You ready for? Oh, hold on. Let's see. Hold on. I think I'm forgetting something else too here. What else are we gonna cover? Weinstein talking UFOs on Rogan. Some random Christian stuff. Oh, Fuentes. You have a new Fuentes clip that you wanted me to play as well.
Yeah, this is a good one.
I saw there's a clip of him talking about Kabbalah too. Might look at that. And let's see. Why don't we start with the Tulsi thing? That's the most pressing, I guess. I don't know. I've covered the UFO stuff so much every stream, but like it's a huge drop today. The White House is like hyping it so hard. They really want everybody to believe in these demons right now. Is it not clear that's what's happening? The war.gov/UFO. It's a war on us with this UFO psyop. That's what it is. The War Department is putting it out. What? Crazy.
Yeah, dude. It's not looking good, dude. They're gonna do some shit where they like link this to the war and the biblical prophecies and all that stuff. Like, I don't know. It's gonna suck.
Mm-hmm. Check this out. I set this up right before we went live. You're gonna love this. You see, I got the kitty behind me again on her little throne, her doggy throne. We'll check this out. Ready? Kitty cam.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Hell yeah.
Dude, wireless Wi-Fi setup to my phones now. I can set up and move around and do a third shot of me or keep it like that for the kitty cam. How sick is that?
Oh yeah, that's sick.
Hold on, let's see. I could do it like this too. Kitty cam in the corner. Checking in. Kitty check. Cheetah check. Okay. Thought that was fun. I got that set up for my wireless with the laptop when I'm out to use a camera from further away. I don't have to use the webcam. Connects wirelessly with your phone to your laptop or to your computer. It's really sick. It's going to be good. Going to be good. Okay. Tulsi Gabbard out. A lot of people are speculating she would be out. There's been rumors about her being some type of like anti-Israel, anti-Iran war opposition. She just appeared in this Christian Rededicate America to Christianity and Yahweh thing that they put together, where she said this. So might as well play the Amalek edit.
And Now, our founders knew their time was short. They knew that the road ahead was uncertain. The foundation of our independence is our dependence upon the Supreme Soul, who's the supreme controller. Now, all of us and all of our leaders need to get on our knees and prostrate ourselves before the Supreme Lord, acknowledging that we are totally dependent upon
You can get your knee on your knees and prostrate yourself out of the White House, Tulsi.
Him for our success, indeed, for our survival.
This is the Amalek curse if I've ever seen it.
Too often, leaders in this world have our eyes covered by pride born out of our relative power, fame, or authority. We lose sight of the fact that we are tiny, and our time on this planet is extremely short. And yet we see ourselves as the controllers competing with each other over who is number one.
Say no to Noahide compliant Hinduism. Yes, let's go. Yo.
But the truth is, there's only one number one. And that's God.
We want our pure pagan idolatry. None of this Noahide compliant BS.
They knew this. They
Yeah,
knew
India,
that
rise up, become who you are.
Forget about it. Yeah, Vedist Aryan queen.
we could not rely on our own strength, our own fame, our own power, our own intelligence.
Love the music.
Completely dependent upon God's favor. And so they humbly
We're nothing
approached
without
that
the
day
Jewish
of
God.
fasting 250 years ago, asking God for his protection, his guidance, his mercy. We
Where was your protection, bitch?
totally dependent upon God to light our path so that we can successfully navigate the troubled waters.
What band is this?
Into a future.
It's the song from Red Alert 2. It's a video game from back in the day. It's like a meme song that everyone's been using for like since I was in like high school.
Oh, my bad. I didn't know.
So I don't even know what the band is actually off the top of my head. I can't remember.
I probably heard it before.
And their children and generations for hundreds and thousands of years can live in peace, freedom, and prosperity.
She must have shook it.
So on this day, let us humble ourselves before God. Let us beg for his mercy and guidance. Let us be willing to forgive those who offended us. As we
That was
ask
before her
God
glow up. That was before her MAGA
to
glow
forgive
up.
us for our trespasses. And
Listen
let
to
us
what you
all
just said at the
today.
end. Forgive us for our trespasses. That's literally quoting Christianity, quoting Judaism, guys. What the hell? What the fuck is going on? If I was a Christian, like seriously, if you were a Christian, wouldn't you be so pissed about this? I would be fucking furious. The e-crusaders that get mad at us every day, all day online, like, what are you doing? Why are you not in her replies calling her out for this shit? How is this not like idolatry? How is this not blasphemous? No, you know, we have our views, but what the fuck is this? How is this even
Vivek does
remote-
the same thing too. Vivek's pushing the
yeah.
Noahide.
Well, it makes sense. The rabbis do this too, where they basically have done this thing, this like what you could call like this what they call it interfaith dialogue with Hinduism. And they basically like highlight to Hindus and various types of Hindus, which by the way, Hinduism is like a category of religion, guys. It's not like there's a broad like, oh, I go to Hindu church and Hindu like that. That's kind of like a Western way of viewing it. But what they do is they do like an outreach to these various, you know, Hindu groups, and they're trying to convince them that like, oh, Vishnu is an avatar of the Messiah, or the oneness of God is the same as what you guys are worshiping through your God, things like that. Like basically they're trying to like theologically massage polytheism to convince them that they are actually monotheists. And they've been pretty successful with it, I would say, actually.
I used to interview this guy. It was on the show a few times. He had a website called like Stop Noahide Laws Blogspot or something like that, and he was always covering how the Jews are like actively trying to do this Noahide Hindu thing.
Oh yeah, it's very, very
So
popular.
it is for real.
I would say part of why it's popular, specifically in America, is there's a lot of like what I would call reformist or reconstructionist or other types of like, you know, weird types of Jews who were also involved in the beginnings of a lot of what you call like these like weird guru and like Hindu or Buddhist cults that are all over the West Coast and Hawaii and things like that. That's where hers came out of. It's a guy named Chris Butler. Is the cult that she's out of. But there's like hundreds and hundreds of these basically like Noahide compliant versions of these like Eastern religions. And what's really fucked is like all of them are putting like a focus on like a coming messianic age brought about by, and then they just like insert various theological concepts within Hinduism. That's what they're doing, right? So it's like they are preparing Hindus or people that have that type of religion for the messianic age, you know, in the same way they did with Christianity and Islam. It's interesting, but it's kind of fucked.
Well, she's out now.
In the privacy of our own homes and hearts, take shelter in God's love and remember him. Aloha.
Okay.
It's like
Tulsi's
it's like
out.
bittersweet,
Chat.
though,
What
right?
does chat think about? What'd you say? Did you say?
I think it's also kind of a problem that she's out, right? Because it's showing that maybe they're kind of consolidating around you know, for maybe amplifying the Iran war, you know what I mean? She was one of the, apparently from all the internal reporting, she was like pushing back on the Iran war and the Ukraine war on both of them. So the fact that she is now out, it could be kind of like a tell that they're trying to amplify this or something like that, specifically the Iran war.
I mean, it's not like she stopped them thus far.
I mean, she's
all right.
been
Here's
useless.
the new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's been totally useless. All the people.
She's going to join the new Massey. Awesome. It's going to be Massey, Kent, Marjorie Taylor Greene,
Hunter Biden,
Bannon, maybe Hunter Biden. So yeah, Massey, Tulsi Gabbard, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Who's going to be the new? I like the term that Spencer used. Slopulist, the Slopulist coalition.
What's her name? That Bowler, people like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Bowler. Yeah. Did you see she did a retweet of Erica? Okay, here it is, guys, and she was like accusing her of killing Charlie. Everybody was appalled. Cool. All right, what do we got here? Okay. Dude, what's with these like awful recordings? Dude, angel orbs confirmed? There's just spirits just like floating around, getting scared. We see them with our cameras and they go away. Could that not be like a model airplane or something? A drone? Dude, what is with this grainy ass footage? That's it? And also, what it's crazy how like the government is like hyping it so hard. They're like slow dripping it all out to like keep our attention on it. Department of War releases
conclusive.
Yeah.
None of it's conclusive, right? Like everyone imagine we're actually like in an alien movie. If they actually had aliens and they actually just shot one down, it would be so obvious to everybody that just happened. We would have people's phones that they saw it above the sky and all sorts of other stuff going on. It would be very obvious. Like that this is going on, like, but they're not doing that. They're just releasing these like, military footage with all the grainy military footage because they don't have.
This guy says it's a balloon.
Yeah, most of them look like balloons. Dude, have you seen people sharing more and more of those?
I saw somebody say they should do AI my face onto the Nordic one and then put that one out. That's so funny. Saturn alien space Jews. They're all giant. That's funny. All right. Not impressed. Are we supposed to be happy with this?
Like that's clearly like a garbage bag flying in the wind of some kind, right? Like that's basically what that looks like.
I don't know if a garbage bag would fly over like that. Maybe like a balloon that's ran out of its helium.
Yeah, something like that.
Pushed in the wind over the top.
I don't know. None of it's conclusive. You need to have like a lot of evidence for this.
Dude, as if God would create angels and have them appear like this, and we're just like detecting them. Oh, look, we caught one of the angels. Because it's not a UFO. It looks like a little tiny little thing. It's not a UFO. It's not a spacecraft. Oh, it's a spirit. I think there's more too. Hold on. Those are the two White House ones. Let's see. Here's the one that Daily Mail put out. Again, this is Chris Bledsoe tier. All out of focus and super grainy. Does anybody remember that old conspiracy? It was called like flagella or flagellum or something. The idea that there was these like weird creatures that were like flying around super fast everywhere that we couldn't see?
I've heard
No?
of that before, but I don't
No?
know
Chat
about
might know it. Okay, wow, completely unimpressive.
Yeah, this must go, dude. And Fox News is going crazy, dude. They're acting like it's totally like the craziest thing of all time. Wait, hold on? Did you go over the mask thing? That was yesterday, wasn't it?
What
Have you
mask
seen
thing?
that one? Yeah, I forgot to bring this.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's saying the dude on Fox has a mask on.
Have you? Yeah, Breaking Point just did a 6-minute video on
Yeah.
me.
It kind of did look like it.
It is a weird clip. I definitely
Yeah.
wouldn't say it's not a weird clip.
I'd have to look a little closer.
But the government outreach to me and to Sam Harris.
Okay, let's hear this kook on Joe Rogan, what he's saying about the aliens.
The government outreach to me and to Sam Harris and to Lex Friedman.
Thank you, Anne Marie. Thank
Marie
you.
sent $50 on Rumble. Love you guys. Have a great weekend. Hail the old gods. Hail the folk.
I think the next shirt might be a Hail the Old Gods theme. I like it. Redacted has been pushing alien bullshit for years. Is that so?
And, there was this thing where these guys who checked out said there's going to be a massive disclosure and we need people to disseminate these things to the public, and you have a share of the public who listens to you. And we need to get you informed so that you can help mediate the disclosure.
So what prompted this change in narrative?
What's going on behind
with
the government?
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know. Look,
So he's saying now the podcasters are working with the government to do this disclosure. We covered last week how the Christian Zionists had a meetup where they're telling them this stuff. Cernovich and Jack Posobiec are pushing this new Book of Enoch UFO demon documentary. Steven Spielberg has a Disclosure Day movie about to come out. All these politicians are talking about hybrid breeding programs and UFOs are demons. J.D. Vance is saying it.
we don't know what the thing or things are yet. Some of it is, so low quality that it's embarrassing to be seen with it. So my colleagues who don't want to take this seriously use that like, okay, so you're now on the little green men train. And I said, no, I'm on the special access program train. There's for sure special access program or programs that have UFO on the side of them that may or may not have aliens.
MPZ says this is all the old MK Ultra faction of intelligence. Rogan's involved. Matthew North vindicated. Dude, I wish Matthew could see what's going on.
Yeah, you can kind of tell like what's happening. Like, everyone's kind of like mentally ready for something like this to happen, right? Like everyone's in that space basically. It's very easy. It's going to be very easy to convince people that this is real. Basically, I think almost everyone's going to fall for whatever they're trying to do.
They already have fallen for it. They already have fallen for it.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like this is like the first layer, and then they're gonna add another layer, and then another layer, and then by the time we realize that they've built up a whole wall, a whole thing around us, like it's gonna be too late. They're just gonna keep putting this stuff out slowly and slowly. That leads nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Or craft or non-human intelligence in them. It may be that it's decoys. It may be, I don't know what it is. There's no way to deny that there's like a giant lump under the carpet.
Giant lump.
Yeah, and you guys put it there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't want to hear 8 more minutes of that idiot. All right. Let's do the Robin Faith Walsh. That's what I'm interested in hearing the most.
Let's do. Well, that's good. We can skip around back and forth then if you want, because it's like I said. I don't know if you want to do the whole episode or what, but the first 2 clips I posted so far are pretty good.
Yeah, let's start with the new clip.
He's got a small account. I'm trying to get people to follow him. You guys make sure you're following Sam and retweeting his stuff and following his videos. His YouTube videos get such little views, and he is putting out by far the best, most hard-hitting questions to these scholars. Like I love Myth Vision, I love Derek, I love
Will419 sent $5 on Rumble. The pagan demons faked the moon landing too.
Yeah, those occult Satanist Nazi behind NASA, Babylonian Nazi occultist. Yeah, I know, seriously. Grinds
I love
my
all these other
gears.
scholars and these other channels that that
Mm-hmm.
have these people on for sure, but no one has done questions like Sam has, and no one has done
Mm-hmm.
like this, like these like think for yourself. All these guys are doing great work, but he is doing fantastic work, and he's getting like no views on his channel. So if you
Mm-hmm.
guys could please like his channel and stuff, that would be awesome. I would hate to see him stop doing his channel because he doesn't get a lot of stuff.
Logos or Sam Leiper.
He's very
His
he's doing
videos are
really
good. He's
stuff.
doing good mythicism videos.
On Rumble. I have
He's
no
being
issue
fair.
with the concept of aliens because I don't believe rare earth. But this Brett Weinstein is like Joe Kent Vig posted Earl about Charlie Kirk, Israel at Seuss and I know but NVM.
Yes.
I lost you there. Brett Return posted it IRL about Kirk. Oh yeah, he did the same thing about Kirk. That's right, on Rogan. Yeah, he was just on Rogan doing that. I think
hate
that was the
bag
Rogan
posting
interview.
thing.
I
Oh,
hate
it
Weinstein.
is.
Watch Professor Dave's video exposing the Weinstein brothers. It's really good.
So stupid.
Okay, and this is interviewing Robin Faith Walsh, who is like everybody loves her. She just broke the early church myth. She does videos on Bart Ehrman's network, conferences with Bart Ehrman. She's got new books. She's loved on all of the History Valley, Myth Vision, Gnostic Informant YouTube channels.
She's great. I like her work. Actually, it's pretty good for us. She just doesn't see things the way we do because she is so influenced by Bart Ehrman and this general scholarship, I would say. However, like her views specifically as they're laid out in the book that they just came out with recently, The Next Quest for the Historical Jesus, like the important part to put this clip into perspective for everybody that's following the mythicism debate is to understand like this is where the views are going. This is where the scholarship is going. And they basically like seeded the ground is how I would describe this. They're no longer contesting the first century Jesus claims or anything like that. They're basically like moving on to general like critiques, genre critiques and things like that, and literary critiques, and describing the authors and the potential community that could have written the gospels rather than focusing on the historical Jesus. So what that says to me is that they don't even want to deal with that question. Basically, they kind of want to like avoid it and kind of go around it and things like that, avoid the question. That's where they're at with the new kind of line of thinking.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Is there music?
No.
First of all, did Jesus exist as a historical person?
I think so. We have, I think, more evidence than we do for most people who lived in the ancient world that Jesus.
Yeah, but it's all magical evidence. It's all supernatural, heavenly Messiah evidence.
Was a figure of some kind. That's a separate question from whether or not.
Yeah, a mythological heavenly figure at the beginning.
The sources, so-called sources that we have.
The older back you go in the sources, the more mythological they are and heavenly. Less biographical. Sorry, I'm not going to do this the whole video, but I'm just...
Oh no, you can, because this whole, like I told you, every single part of this is dense with your reactions. Like I said, we could go through the whole 50-minute video if you wanted, and every part is like this. It's relevant to what you talk about and relevant to your book.
Join the green pill, Robin.
Have things like the Gospels are reliable in the sense that we would like them to be as contemporary people who have certain ideas of historicity and verification. And so I think we have to temper whatever our expectations are for retrieving information about that historical person with the nature of the sources. As long as we can do that, then yeah, we have more evidence for his existence than we do for the billions of people who have lived on the earth for the last.
Yeah, there's more evidence for Shiva and Buddha and Muhammad and the Zeus in these things than other random preachers also. Somebody being a character being very well known doesn't mean they existed.
Last 2,000 years.
Are there any non-Christian sources that can sort of really convince you of his evidence? So, for example, I was chatting with William Lane Craig not too long ago, and he mentioned the letter of Marabbar Serapion being one non-Christian source that he finds is helpful when arguing for the case of Jesus' historicity. I don't know if you have a view on that at all, or if there's any non-Christian sources you find convincing.
I find more evidence for non-Christian sources by the 2nd century, which is fairly early, talking about people who were followers of Christ. So separate from, again, this question of historical Jesus.
Yeah, followers of a heavenly Christ, though. That doesn't mean that it's a historical figure just because there's followers decades later. W. Redbeard, yeah, Viking physiognomy.
Which I think is very troublesome for, again, a number of reasons, the least of which is that we have an expectation for what history telling should be like. That is not what the ancients had. So we have sources like Contra Kelsum, so people talking about, non-Christians talking about their perception of this movement. And then you have, there's a figure named Phlegon, who we know had a text about early Christians that's now lost. So you also have references in the Passing of Peregrinus by Lucian. He talks about Peregrinus spending some time among Christians because they're particularly gullible, actually, is what he says. And so this guy is on the lam.
That is true.
He sort of
Hold on. That's 2nd century. They said Christians are gullible. Wow.
Yeah. I had somebody bring that up in a space once to me because we did the whole thing where I say, what's your outside the Bible sources? And they always link this type of stuff to me. And first of all, everyone just be very clear what she's saying. She's saying all of these sources are not pointing to Jesus, okay? So they're pointing to Christians existing. So whenever we get in debates with these people online, understand that when they're citing these sources, if you just go read them, they say that Christians existed at most. Some of them are later interpolations, like the Marabar Serapin letter that he mentioned earlier. In my view, that whole wise king of the Jews thing, that the earliest versions of that are way late. So I don't think that that's even part of the original letter and the earliest layer. But it's important for everyone to understand, like, we have no evidence for the historical guy in the 1st century does not exist.
Stacia0927 sent $20 on Rumble. Love the kitty cam. I have 2 cats myself. They are 21 and 18.
Dude, am I gonna have you for 20 years, kitty? I gotta switch the camera around to face her front a little bit more. Man, 20 years. Good thing I love her. Good thing she's so cute and sweet.
He talks about Peregrinus spending some time among Christians because they're particularly gullible, actually, is what he says. And so this guy is on the lam, and he's...
Okay, I found it. Here, Lucian, Greek satirist and rhetorician. How do you say that? Rhetorician?
Yeah.
Rhetorician. Mocked Christians as gullible in his work. Peregrinus.
I've had people cite this to me as evidence for Jesus.
The poor wretches have persuaded themselves that they are going to be immortal and live for all time. Therefore, they despise death and even willingly give themselves into custody. So they want to be martyred, the martyrdom. Furthermore, their first lawgiver... were you going to say something?
Candida Moss cites this letter, or cites this. This is where I first came across it, and then I had people bring it up in spaces.
Maxed Out Bear sent $10 on Rumble. Friday Shekels.
Thank you, buddy. Confirm no small hat. Their first lawgiver persuaded them that they are all brother of one another and worship that crucified sophist himself and live under his laws. Therefore, they despise all things indiscriminately and consider them common property, receiving doctrines traditionally without any definite evidence. So if any charlatan and trickster able to profit by associations, dude, that's who these Christian pastors are, charlatan and tricksters.
$20 on Rumble. I've been checked out from all of this clown world for a bit. Just checking in to say I hope you guys are doing good.
Good to see your name, Abraham Matrix. Yeah, everybody I need to check out sometime
Whenever you're
soon.
feeling overwhelmed with like the day-to-day politics, guys, like just check out and like read a book on the scholarship side and like go and like educate yourself and like level up how you think. Like don't worry about like the day-to-day political stuff because it is fucking, if you just like zoom into that all the time, it's gonna drive you nuts. I get it.
Johann.
I'd like to discuss theology with Robin Festivals if you know what I mean. More kitty cam.
Yep. I feel you. Okay, so he calls Christians charlatans, tricksters, able to profit by occasion, so grifters, con artists. Come among them, he quickly acquires sudden wealth by imposing upon simple folk. Dude, you put on the MAGA hat, you say Christ is king, you talk about the synagogue of Satan, and you're an overnight e-celeb influencer. on the internet these days. Sudden wealth by criticizing Jews. Or just by shilling Jesus and saying the end times is coming also. The simple folk. By exploiting these simpletons. Dude, they had you pegged. They had you pegged 2,000 years ago. Crazy. Dude, I gotta add. All right.
Sort of integrating himself into different groups while he's, a fugitive from the law. And so he picks the Christians for a while because they were kind of his mark. And so it's a satire, but Lucian does mention them. And then there was a scholar named P.G. Walsh, not related, who also thinks that something like The Golden Ass by Apuleius might have an awareness of Christianity. So we have lots of little blips on the screen in the 2nd century. There are also some 1st century historians that there are passages that might mention Christians or Crestus as well. I don't usually talk about those because they're a little bit questionable for various reasons. So yeah, there's a lot. Again, kind of back to the first question. There are a lot of things.
Completely seeded the ground. It's gone. It's gone. We're done. We're done.
What are the three? How many mention Crestus also?
Okay, it's Pliny the Younger. Okay, and it's Tacitus. They both do the Crestus thing. And then there's another one I can't remember. That's a smaller version. It doesn't matter. There's another one that does Crestus as well. That's shortly after.
What's the name of that? It's gonna bother me.
Yeah, it's gonna drive me nuts too.
I just looked it up. Suetonius.
Thank you.
Tacitus and Pliny the Younger.
Yeah. So all those are doing the Creston thing, right? So she doesn't fuck with that at all. And then I've read her other work on Luke Acts and things like that, so I already kind of know where she's at on there. And she agrees with the Josephus Luke Acts stuff, right? So she already thinks that Luke Acts is really late too because of that. So she would, and that Josephus wouldn't be, if you think that, I don't think you can really say that the Josephus passages are authentic while also believing in like a late Luke Acts.
Listen, the people that want to cite the Suetonius, it says, quote, since the Jews constantly made disturbances at the instigation of Crestus, he expelled them from Rome. You got to love that. Since the Jews constantly... This is talking about some other Jewish leader, by the way, I think. Crestus.
Yeah, it was it was an incredibly popular name, basically.
Yeah. What does it mean, too? It has a meaning. I'll look it up. Since the Jews constantly made disturbances at the instigation of Jesus, that's your citation, Christians? So instigated rebel rousers that were Jewish, that's the first Christians? That's funny. But she's dismissed. She's saying it's not Crestus.
Right. She's saying it's not.
Jesus wasn't in Rome steering up anybody against Rome, right?
Well, right. Well, that's the other thing that's what I'm saying. So all these people who, like, to us, they'll make the argument. They'll say, oh, there's 1st century sources that talk about Jesus. Your own scholars that are arguing for Jesus historicity are not even relying on those anymore. They've given them up to us. We won on the 1st century. There are no 1st century sources. It's over. It's closed. It's kaput. Stop replying to me with Tacitus. Stop replying to me with Pliny. Stop replying to me with all this stuff. It's done. It's over. You guys have lost the 1st century debate. Now, if you guys want to go and you guys want to say, okay, 2nd century, we have sources for historical Jesus. Let's start talking about those. Okay, I can talk about those. I think that they're too late. That's all. I'll just say that right out of the gate. I'll say I think they're too late. But guess what? I even think that they're fucked on this because the earliest records in the 2nd century are also still just talking about Christians. That's what she's talking about in this, right? So they're done. It's over. I mean, I don't know what to tell people. This is their next generation. This is like the ideological foundations and layers of their next generation of historical Jesus arguments. And they've already ceded all the ground to us. It's over. We just need the
Josephus is a forgery. Tacitus and all these people are not even talking about Jesus. Look, this is why they say that Suetonius, Pliny the Younger, and Tacitus are not talking about Jesus from the Bible because it's Crestus is what they say. Because Jesus was already dead at that time. He's describing events during the reign of Claudius, 49 CE, but Jesus supposedly died almost 20 years earlier. Then he could not literally be in Rome instigating riots 2 decades later. See, it's not talking about the same one. And that wording sounds like a living agitator physically present in Rome. Crestus was an ordinary slave freedman name throughout the Roman Empire. It was not automatically understood as Christ.
Amen.
And also, just assuming that it was Jesus, this is saying at the instigation of that could just be at the instigation of the heavenly Jesus that the first Jews believed in at the same time. But I don't think it is.
Grant it to him. I agree. I agree. Mm-hmm.
Yep. I'm interested what Derek and Neil and Berman think about this, or Bart Ehrman also. Does Bart Ehrman concede that it's not talking about Christ, but Christus is somebody different?
Yeah, they don't rely on this stuff. They don't rely on any of this stuff. That's what I'm saying. Like, I would say like Ehrman's kind of like a transitionary figure between like the old guard historical Jesus arguments, and then he puts out, did Jesus exist? And then Robin Faith Walsh and all these people are taking did Jesus exist and like spinning off to make this. Essentially they're like reacting to that, but they're not even dealing with any of the mythicist arguments in their critiques, in their studies, in their understanding. Like they don't even touch anything that Carrier's saying or any of the scholars that are talking about this. They don't address any of the arguments. They're basically like saying, oh yeah, that's actually not how we argue historical Jesus anymore, we focus on this other thing.
Brewmaster Monk sent $10 on Rumble. You should put your book on the blockchain so future generations can fight back if the techno-Zionists win. Using the Fed-backed cryptos preserves the info for as long as the surveillance state exists.
Dude, you think I know how to upload my book to the blockchain?
Yeah,
no chance.
help us out with that.
Yeah, I didn't even know you could do that. I didn't even know that was the thing.
Some kind of core to this that probably a man named Jesus lived. At some point, but again,
she sounds so scholars even doubt
what his teachings
You're the
were,
scholar,
and,
probably
exactly what happened to him. I think that's more.
Yeah, probably. Why though? What's your reason that you think it's probably? Because Carrier did the Bayesian probability, and it's that he didn't exist. Let's get real. She seems guilty too. Her face looks a little guilty with that answer, I gotta say, to be honest.
Okay.
That answer. He kind of knew it too. Look at him smiling and smirking.
At some point, but again, exactly who Jesus was, what his message was, what his teachings were, and exactly what happened to him. I think that's more up in the air.
Okay. Well, thanks for that. So.
Okay.
Fantastic.
And you said that. Shoot, there's another one.
I posted a second one, and then the whole YouTube video is there too.
Oh, look, by the way, you were just at 9997 a second ago. You lost 3 subs.
I'm being
guys. Is anybody in the chat not following Amalek? Are we going to get him over 10K so he could celebrate his Sabbath properly? Please, hold on.
Funny.
I'm just going to drop it in the chat, and I want to see it go over so we can celebrate right now for hitting the 10K. The 5-digit club. Welcome to the 5-digit club, Amalek. You now are a D-list influencer. Just kidding. Up to the C-list.
No, it's actually about I don't care about the fucking follower count. I want to influence the influencers. I want the people who are like saying things to be saying things that I'm thinking, because I don't think that there's really any other way to do this.
Okay, here it is.
The gospel.
We're going to go back and check if he hit the 10K and then have a party.
Let's get into this then. So the Gospels, who wrote them?
Well, my personal opinion, there tends to be a view that there were these communities of Christians that had an oral tradition that eventually was written down. I tend to question that, not to say that I don't think that there were Christian churches.
$10.
Thank you, Todd Fox. So she doesn't think they started with tradition. They started as literary constructs. Yeah.
Dude, it's over, right? Like, this is over. We've won. They don't even realize it, I don't think, right?
They're having to, like, seed all of the points. I wrote that in my book, actually. Yeah. As biblical scholarship progresses, more and more of the ground is being lost for the historical Jesus.
We were referencing her book.
B4CC4 sent $5 on Rumble. Recently picked up Ehrman's Did Jesus Exist? And don't know how I feel about it. Are there definitive books to be more pilled? Quest for Hist.
Jesus. More pilled.
Also asked Amalek in DMs on X. Thanks.
Oh, you're looking for the book that's the best argument for a historical Jesus? That's the problem that Carrier always talks about. There are no good, like, peer-reviewed, professional, scholarly books. Yeah. Ehrman's, read my book and you'll see all the harsh criticisms that Ehrman has got for his book, the shoddy work he did in his book.
Yeah, I think "Did Jesus Exist" is really good, and then I think if you read if you can get a hold of the chapter in the next Quest for the Historical Jesus, Robin Faith Walters, it's like an anthology of multiple different scholars, and her part in that book, she kind of like outlines where this is going, is how I would describe it. But Ehrman's book is where I would go for their best argument. That's what made me a mythicist, by the way, was reading Ehrman's book.
Well, yeah, you hear Carrier and Nailed, and then you go, well, let's see what the other side says to hear their argument. And then it's like, yeah, very extremely underwhelming. You did it opposite. That's interesting. Sam says, thanks for sharing, and I hope you enjoyed and you shared the live stream. So
yeah, I
keep up the good work.
It was his interviews are so good. Yeah, I read Ehrman's book first, thinking that it was going to debunk and crush you, and I wouldn't have to read the other stuff. And then I read it, and I was just stunned. I was like, oh, actually, they have nothing at all, and they're not even dealing with any of the information. So yeah, Ehrman's book is what I would read for people who want to see like their best foot forward. And like 40 to 60% of it, somewhere around there, is just him like citing the consensus in a way that's like, he acts like that's what we're arguing over, if the consensus exists or not. We all acknowledge the consensus exists, and he spends like at least 40% of the book doing that. It's ridiculous.
I was watching him debate some Christian on the resurrection yesterday. It was
I saw that
the Christian was so bad and it got wrecked.
To question that, not to say that I don't think that there were Christian churches out there. Certainly there were. By the time we think the Gospels were written, late 1st century, perhaps even early 2nd century. As more time goes on, scholars are a little bit more willing to push those dates forward a bit, but definitely after the Jewish War. But to be able to read and write in antiquity was fairly rarefied. Even if you couldn't read and write, but you were wealthy, you could hire someone to do it or enslave someone to do it. But in any case,
let's go!
Yourself because you had the means and opportunity to be.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. A living out in the fields and something like that. You didn't need to be working at a certain craft in order to make money during the day. You had enough leisure time to.
Finally, I got you guys. The crypto groiper here to subvert.
Just not enough people.
Donzo sent $10. Did Paul create Jesus to cover and redirect James' revolution, knowing they couldn't win with violent uprising? What do you with Nina's view of Paul being a mythic figure?
He's got to read Nina's book. It's too hard for me to explain to him. It's hard for me to explain to him all the Nina arguments. He's got to read it. I'm not convinced entirely by Nina's arguments either, as far as like mythical Paul. But if you read what she says, she's not even really like, that's not even like the main thing she's arguing. She's arguing about like dating of the Pauline epistles, the quote unquote authentic ones.
Hold on.
And I do think that her arguments for the dating of the epistles, like I would love to see counter arguments, because to me it's like very, very convincing. I just put like the Paul mythicism stuff to the side. It's like a separate issue, and she even acknowledges that in her book. It's a dense book. It's kind of hard to read, I would say. It's a little bit on the difficult side for anyone trying to read it, but if she's even like half right, guys, like that's awesome. Jesus never existed.
Thanks, man.
Like just straight up, if she's even like half right.
I think a couple weeks ago you got your account suspended, and we thought you were cooked and over. I thought you were cooked, dude. You were on your new one posting, and then you came back and started clipping like a madman and changing the conversation, and now hit the 10K, dude. Oh shit! Huge W. The cat cam fell over. Kitty, are you okay?
Yeah,
all right. Say something, all right? I have to fix this thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's been sick. It's been sick that I got my account back and everything like that. That's been cool, and being able to shape like what people are talking about has been great. People just need. Hopefully, people are like listening and understanding what we're saying, because I think that's been like the common problem here, is that a lot of times we start with these debates and people like honestly think we're advocating for like, hey, everyone, like become Odinists and go into the woods, and that's just like not what we're saying. So like dialing these arguments in and explaining to people like what we're actually trying to say, and like meet people where they're at and teach people what's going on. A lot of these guys, like, they legitimately just do not know any of these arguments or anything that we're talking about. So as frustrating as it is to deal with them, we have to like level these guys up. We have to like teach them, because most of them are our people, And like this is like the cards we were dealt. So this is like the struggle that we have to do, and it's not really like an optional thing. So thanks everyone for like the 10K followers. It's pretty sick. And we're gonna keep doing this stuff. There's like a bunch of things that Adam and I are talking about doing moving forward, and hopefully we can kind of keep spreading what's going on. Like we're spreading the message and spreading these ideas, because I do think their time has come. But how awesome is that, what she just said about the fact that they're like literary communities, dude, and they like hired people to write for them. And and did you hear what she said though? The big important part there, they're all written after the Jewish War. That's where the historical Jesus people are at now, guys. That's where the scholarship's at now, guys. She's admitting that they must have been written after the Jewish War.
Alex Jones played a clip of me calling out a Jewish person. He said I was a Fed and my behavior wasn't Christ-like. His producer reached out to have me on the show. The CQ will be addressed, and I will give you a shout out.
Wow. You get on there before me. I guess maybe I should go out and spurg out. I saw that going viral. Cam Higbee shared that, and everybody is appalled and disgusted. I think that's not helpful. I know it was a while ago, but
I think it's funny that they're all like posting it now. Like it's so long ago.
Yeah.
It's because of the Chud thing, I guess. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I think the Chud thing, they're trying to highlight like that style of streaming.
Or wealthy enough, had the time, had the education to write something even like the Gospels.
Adam Green IRL chimp out video coming soon, dude. I do go and do street interviews. Like there could be a chimp out at some point talking about Jesus and stuff. My cameraman looks like a straight killer though, so like people don't want to mess with us. I'm serious. He doesn't just look like he is a straight killer.
$20. Congrats, Amalek. Some voices deserve to be amplified. This is well deserved.
Thank you so much, Grace.
Thank you, Grace.
People like complaining to me and bitching to me about like the Chud situation and me like counter signaling Chud. Like Chud called us Jews, called us Jeets, said he threatened to beat you up. And if you had something like this happen to you while you were just like asking people about Jesus, and then some crazy guy came up and punched you in the face, like Chud and none of these guys would lift a fucking finger. So excuse me if I'm not gonna like be his number one advocate and crusader for his fucking freedom and all that shit, guys. Like that's a total joke to expect anyone to do that. If he wasn't like that and he didn't do that, we could talk about the situation. But fuck that. I'm not gonna sit here and support somebody like NHG. I get that you do too. That's cool. That's fine. It's not gonna bother. It doesn't bother me. That's fine. If you want to do that, whatever. If people are gonna call us Feds and Jews, like that is the red line. Fuck off. We are authentically giving our point of view to like a limited audience, by the way. So like, fuck off.
Yeah, and it's like if he was in the right and didn't attack the guy first, and he attacked him because he stalked him or because he said a word he didn't like obviously I side with the guy that is in the right, which would be Chud in that case. I don't want him to be. It's crazy actually what they're doing to him with how they're saying now he can't. He raised like 2 million. 200. How much did he raise? 200,000. And they're saying he can't use that money towards his bail. Like that's bizarre. And but if I don't want him to get railroaded. Like
the court system sucks. Yeah. Like that's why you don't do those things in my view. So I get it. Yeah. But yeah, how crazy is that? So she's dating the Gospels post-Jewish war. And how many idiots on Twitter do we argue with every day? They try to tell us, oh, Jesus predicted the fall of the temple in the Gospels, you idiot. You don't think that that's how they date the Gospels? How do they do the dating? Is it 60? They do like 60, 70, 80, and 90 for the 4 Gospels, something like that usually. Whatever they've been doing, like it's just totally it's totally nuts. No, these scholars are totally moved past that.
All right, let's finish up.
Are not exceptionally high literature, to be honest. If you look at the Greek, they're a little bit rough around the edges compared to
they're written by Jewish ladies.
But even to write that kind of prose took quite a bit of expertise, and you had to be part of that more rarefied group. And so thinking about how patronage and publication also worked, it was quite time consuming and expensive to make copies of things. So this idea that a community just kind of hired a local guy off the street to like write down what they were saying, it doesn't match anything we have in the ancient world. So I think that the gospel writers were most likely part of, let's call it an aspiring class, or what we might call middle class. You know, we have to be careful how we describe these things, as we have a tendency to think in capitalist terms today that don't quite work for antiquity. But you definitely have in the 1st and 2nd centuries more people making money under the empire. So maybe say a merchant who has more money these days than they used to have.
Yeah.
But
Happy merchants, happy merchant memes confirmed.
Yeah.
The writers of the Bible, I don't know, merchants. Hey, dog whistle, settle down, Robin. Okay, we hear the dog whistles.
Yeah.
Merchant.
Optics, Robin.
Wink, wink. Yeah, come on, Robin.
This is when I messaged you and I was like, bro, you've got to see this video. This is wild.
Yeah, we're just joking, obviously, too. She's not really doing dog whistles. It's just a joke.
Antiquity, but you definitely have in the 1st and 2nd centuries more people making money under the empire. So maybe say a merchant who has more money these days than they used to have, but they don't have a title, or maybe they come from an
I
enslaved.
was gone for like 5 seconds. And the chat's saying F. Are we back or?
Yeah, I think we're back. Yeah, that's weird.
Cool.
What a quick drop.
They've made, hit it big, and so they want to do the things that rich people do, and so you might be the
So a bunch of
patron
merchants that
somebody
hit it
who's
big want
part
to do
of
what
this
rich
new
people do and
ecclesia,
be
the Christ
patrons.
group, and so here's an opportunity for you to get in and sort of be part of what the wealthy are doing, or the expectations of the wealthy to be a patron of a writer, or to document some kind of history of remarkable persons. I mean, that better fits our models for antiquity. And so I think you're dealing with maybe a middle class, upper middle class individual who has been supported to write this story.
A middle-class patronage network of merchants that were fleeing in the Roman diaspora Jewish community after the Jewish War. That's the authors of the Gospels, guys.
The
That
Jewish
is the
War of
scholarship.
67 to 70, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So think about what that means for us understanding who the authors of the book are, okay? And like that's where the scholarship is going. It's her and her group and these scholars like reconstructing who the authors were and why they wrote what they wrote and things like that. That's where they're at right now with the historical Jesus debate.
Let's
looking
get
at the literary critique, genre critique, the broader context of the writers. They're not even dealing with the historical Rabbi Jesus anymore. They've totally given up.
Yep. Hanging on by a thread.
The rest of it is fantastic.
Bazillion Thought says, can I say something without everyone getting mad? That's funny. What, about the bearded guy? You have a thing for red beards? Joking. Okay, let's do the...
Let's laugh at the Nick clip. It's pretty funny.
Okay.
Just when I thought it couldn't get any crazier, that clip of me saying, like, people should stop eating, we should all want to be skinny, etc. When that clip went viral, I started to see there were a lot of people saying that that is actually a conspiracy to convince people not to eat anymore as part of, like, the United Nations 2030 Millennium Development Goals. So I saw...
People were really saying that?
It was Eric Stryker on Censored AI. I saw him. I was making fun of them. I was making fun of him in the group chats and on the timeline.
That's so funny.
30 Millennium Development Goals. So I saw Eric Stryker from TRS. I saw Uncensored AI. I saw a few other Twitter accounts. They quote tweeted that clip. I'm not making this up. I'm not exaggerating at all. And they said, oh, Nick Fuentes is telling us to stop eating? That sounds a lot like Klaus Schwab, you'll own nothing and be happy.
That's such a stretch.
Because after the war with...
He was saying he was looking fat and everybody was calling him fat and he wanted to not eat to lose weight. And they're like, if that's a conspiracy now. 2030 UN, not going to eat anything. Eat the bugs. That's crazy.
The other side is literally saying there's no such thing as low IQ anti-Semitism. No such thing. And then this is what they're saying. This is their
That's so funny.
And yeah, it's funny.
And there's a fertilizer shortage, and there's not going to be enough food, so he's priming the pump for food scarcity.
Bruh.
I'm not making that up. Go and look at their timeline. I saw this, and I'm like, wow, Goyim are not people. They're really not people. That is honestly the most black-pilling development of the past 5 years. More than COVID, more than BLM.
Yeah, dude, this is what kills me. All these retarded Goyim all the time.
Well, this is what I'm talking this a lot.
Goyim sometimes can be.
The axis of politics is it's like coalescing around this for whatever. It's because these people are a problem, guys. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, Nick, for all of his faults, he's just right about this, and it is a problem, and we do have to change what we're doing. He has to change what he's doing. We have to change what we're doing. We're all just recognizing that at the same time. And maybe we recognized it before him, and maybe we've been telling him for years this was a problem, but at least we're all coming to the conclusion at some point.
Biden administration, more than October 7th. They're saying, so I go on the show and say, hey, everybody, let's go on a diet. Let's get skinny. Let's stop being fat. Let's be skinny. You don't need to go on a crazy diet. Just eat less. And now people are saying that's a United Nations conspiracy to get people to acquiesce to food scarcity because of the war in Iran. You know, when I was getting into politics, they would say you're a Fed if you were trying to advocate violence. Like if I went on Twitter and said, hey, everybody, let's attack the power grid, people would say you're a federal informant. You're trying to solicit people to commit crimes. Now it's like if you tell people to go on a diet, it's like part of a convoluted CIA operation. What do you even do at that point? What can you even say? Literally, what can you even say at this point that is not
can't
going
even
to
say
be
to eat beef jerky, dude.
Construed in that way? So I saw that, I couldn't even believe. I'm like, what even do you say to that? And those were real tweets. This was Uncensored AI, which sponsored that America First United conference a couple of weeks ago. The Jew Bilzerian, Amy Danger Slut. They were like the only sponsor of the conference.
Not
it's that account saying it's a psyop to tell people to go on a diet. So I'm like seriously considering just switching sides. Like maybe the Talmud is right.
Part.
Like you guys might be subhuman. Like are the Goyim okay? I used to be on the other side saying the Talmud says we're not people. It says we're cattle, and if we're in mortal danger that you don't have to save us because our lives don't matter. That's really messed up. But as time goes on, I'm like, I don't know, guys. I don't know. Goyim are merely beasts that resemble people. Sounds like they clocked us.
Well, Christians willingly call themselves sheep and a flock following their shepherd, but then cry when the Talmud compares us to beasts.
Sounds like they kind of got our number on that one. Offensive? Sure. Shocking? Absolutely. Is it wrong? I'm not so sure anymore. Are they absolutely wrong? I can't say with certainty that they are. It says in the Talmud, if a goy is drowning, that a Jew doesn't have to save them because they're not people. And at first I was like, they value our lives so much less than their own. This is so evil. Now I'm like, I don't know. If I saw a bunch of goyim drowning and they were like, help, help. Wait, but you're a Fed because you said we shouldn't eat as much. I'd be like, I don't know. Maybe you should just go and drown then or something. Maybe is there a lot of value that's going to go away here? I'm not so sure. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. It's making me question my previously held assumptions. My experiences this year, they're making me just rethink everything. I'm honestly considering maybe Goyim are actually the problem. Maybe if
he
they
said at
just
the end of
led
this
with
rant that he was joking, guys. You guys are so not
just
fun.
went on the
you guys
show
need
and
to
said,
realize
look,
what's fun.
Goyim are the problem.
He's done this bit a million times. He does this bit every week.
True, it's all real. I feel like they'd actually be doing better.
Yeah.
If they just
they would be doing
it
better.
Would have been shocking, but maybe
if they did hype edits of Bibi Netanyahu and stuff that were him eating baby spines and stuff and going around really lean into
just
it.
When I thought
they would probably be doing better. That's so funny.
Rabbi Mizrahi weighs in on Trump's National Shabbat Proclamation. Another one from Amalek. Oops.
Baruch Hashem, this coming Shabbat, as you probably heard on the news, President of the United States, Donald Trump, announced a Shabbat for everyone to keep for the 250 years birthday, I guess, of the United States. I don't know who gave him this idea, but everyone should observe.
See that little smile he's got when he says
Shabbat.
that?
I don't know who gave him this idea.
But everyone should observe the States.
Clearly Jews
Gave him
did.
this idea. That everyone should observe this upcoming Shabbat.
I wonder if he knows who
But you can see already the lefty liberals, they're going crazy. Some goyims are actually like the idea. It's very interesting.
Some goyims actually like
Goy
the
that doesn't have to observe the Sabbath is excited to do so. A liberal Jew that is, he must observe the Sabbath, will do everything he can, not only not to observe it, to make others also not to follow. Baruch Hashem, this coming Shabbat.
Here's the Joel Webben Network coping about worshiping the Jewish God. Let's hear a little of this one. I want to get into.
Like you've hit on several things there that are worth revisiting. One of them is you've underscored that we don't worship the same God by saying them believing that they don't believe in a resurrection. They don't believe Jesus died on a cross and was resurrected. They believe he's a prophet. Well, that's not what we believe, and you can't a la carte the Trinity. It's a package deal, and so no, we don't worship the same God. So that's number
so
one.
Stupid.
Second, this sounds like a woman who's probably a lovely woman. There are many Muslim men and women who are lovely people. What you and I are saying are not that every Muslim is a terrorist or would be terrorist. That's not what we're arguing. What we're saying is that those Muslims we know who are lovely people, and I know many, they are lovely people in spite of their religion, not because of it, meaning they're lovely people because they've chosen to ignore what their own religion tells them to do. So the story, for instance, you just told, which is very accurate, by the way,
such a cop-out.
of Boko Haram and Fulani herdsmen do the same thing, both Islamic terrorist groups, telling them to go and kill their Christian neighbors. That's Orthodox Islam. That's not quote unquote radical Islam. That's not a warping of the Islamic texts in the Quran, the Hadith. That's not a warping of the life of Muhammad, which they're supposed to model the same way we are supposed to follow the model set for us by Jesus Christ. And so when you meet those Muslims who are, very friendly, likable, terrific people, it's in spite of their religion. Whereas I would say that when you see the better versions of Larry Taunton, it's because of his faith in Jesus Christ. And when you see the less lovely sides of Larry Taunton, it's because he's not behaving in a manner that's consistent with Jesus Christ's teaching. That's the difference between us. And those are incredibly important distinctions to be made.
Okay, this is too retarded. I can't even watch it.
It's
Who
the
watches
dumbest
these
argument.
idiots?
How can anyone sit there through that argument and be like, yes, okay, that checks out. Dude, Martin Luther said that you guys worship the same God, okay? Like, show me somebody who was saying that you guys didn't worship the same God, or didn't say like, oh, the other side's satanic, which is just another way of saying the other person worships the same God wrong, okay? It's all within the same lore universe. That's all people are saying. I don't understand why this is like
lore universe. Yeah, that's all you gotta be.
Like, I don't understand. All we're saying is that you guys are all like sharing a universe in the same way. You're all in the Marvel universe. You're all in the DC universe. You guys are not in the Marvel or DC universe. It's all the same thing, okay? You share the same traditions and the same shared lore.
Is wanting to be the Lost Tribes of Israel sharing their lore and in their Jewish comic book universe? Because we got the 12 Lost Tribes of Israel have been found. From this apologist, 720 likes. Let's see what's up with this guy. We was Hebrews. Let's go.
The 12 European genetic pools. This is the principal component analysis of modern West Eurasians. This component analysis shows us all the Shemite lines. G, J, I, and R are all represented here. You'll see Levantine and Arabic peoples and European peoples on the same map. Why? Because they're actually genetically similar. And then there's 12 distinct populations to the left of the Ashkenazi. There's 12 lost tribes of Israel. And those 12 genetic clusters are the Slavics, Baltic, Central Europeans, Balkan, Germanic. Don't get confused, Germanic includes the English and the Scottish and the Celts. French, Italian, Sicilian, Spanish, South French, Basque, and Sardinian. These people are all genetically closely related to each other. The Spanish person,
they're
the
not
Slavic
Shemites,
person,
that's a
and the British
language
person
group,
are all
fuckface.
related to each other. Their 12 genetic clusters make up the 12 tribes of Israel. Critically, the Ashkenazi and Sephardi Jewish populations appear on the same chart outside the European circle, positioned between the European cluster and the Levantine populations. The genetic signature of a population that is neither European nor fully Levantine. They are Shemitic in origin, as haplogroup J is a Shemite haplogroup, but they are not Israel. Revelation chapter 3, verse 9. They say they are Jews and are not, but lie. Haplogroup R is genetically distinct.
Your evidence for the genetics being different is Rev 3.9. Please understand how much of a worthless creature you are. What a retarded person. Holy shit. His evidence for the genetics being separate and being not true is citation of Revelation 3.9. Oh, okay. Because when John of Patmos wrote that down, because he had a vision of Jesus, and Jesus says to him, behold, there will be a synagogue of Satan. They will say they are Jews, but are not, because they lie. What Jesus was actually talking about was that in 70s, when we discovered DNA, that there was actually going to be a conspiracy to hide the true origins of the DNA. Fuck you, you're an idiot. Like, you guys are so dumb. This is not real science or not real, like, they're not looking at for the truth. They're trying to like mold reality to fit with their, pre-existing Jesus condition. It's fucking stupid.
Population that is neither European nor fully Levantine.
Fully Levantine. We're not pretending that Ashkenazi are fully Levantine. They're mostly Levantine mixed in with some other Europe. So, like, this is the graph. It's weird that he's showing this and thinking this argues for his position, when I've seen this one before showing that they are not Europeans.
That's what I'm saying.
He doesn't even understand what this means.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's taking this graph and then he's saying, like, but they lie. That's what I'm saying. He's using the Revelation 3.9, saying that this is a lie, basically. Or that they lie about this stuff.
They are Shemitic in origin, as haplogroup J is a Shemite haplogroup, but they are not Israel. Revelation chapter 3, verse 9. They say they are Jews and are not, but lie. Haplogroup R is genetically distinct from the rest of the Levantine peoples. Haplogroup R pulses into and exits the Levant. Haplogroup R is what the Levites have, which is also distinct from the rest of the Ashkenazi. Haplogroup R has the highest...
The Levites?
Dude, Semitic is a language group. Semitic is a language group. Semitic is a language group. Like, I don't understand. Why does he keep doing this thing? Like, oh, the Semitic J1, J2, that is Arabs, dude. Those are Arabs. Those are Levantine people, Canaanite people from that region. That's who they are.
Yeah.
Calling them Semites, a Semitic person is a language group. Hebrew, Arabic, Aramaic, Phoenician, I think. Like, this is so stupid.
Yeah. Arabs are more Middle Eastern. Jews were more like Mediterranean. Right?
Yeah.
Mediterranean, African.
Of tuberculosis and leprosy, which is exactly the diseases found in the Tomb of the Shroud in Jerusalem, a 1st century tomb. Also, the maternal haplogroups, including H, V, T, and W, are found in Europe at their highest levels. The tomb in Jerusalem points to Europe. Europeans have the highest dairy tolerance on Earth by a huge margin. They are 95
Dude,
to 100%.
this is like advanced Jake. This is like the better version of Jake from the space. What's his name?
Yeah.
Esposito.
Non-retarded, just
this is like
delusional liar, but not retarded.
And the milk thing is so dumb. There's populations all across the world who have different levels of lactose tolerance. There's like black people in Africa that have high levels of tolerance for lactose. This is a very stupid argument. It is not just white people that have lactose tolerance, guys. Yes, we have a higher propensity for it. That's because of our climate.
E and W are found
And our
in
diets.
Europe at their highest levels. The tomb in Jerusalem points to Europe. Europeans have the highest dairy tolerance on Earth
Oh my God.
by a huge margin. They are 95 to 100% tolerant, whereas the rest of the world is 25%
Dairy supremacist, if you will.
or less, and East Asians are 1%. They've forgotten that they're the Israelites, which is biblically prophesied, but they have a remnant. They are visited early by the apostles.
Beowulf 914 sent $5 on Rumble. That PCA is comparing 6-8K-year-old European DNA compared to modern DNA.
Yeah. Yep, getting that wrong too.
And we established that with multiple independent sources. The British Isles were visited early after the resurrection. And then in the last days, they have to be north and at the ends of the earth, and they are
What?
exactly there. Haplogroup R is north in Europe and in Russia, and they're also
Romans went up to England around in the first century.
Well, I
But-
think that Jews did too. I think that Londinium did have a large Jewish population. I think that that is true.
But not lost tribes from hundreds
Yeah,
of
not
years
lost
before.
tribe, yeah.
Oh.
And I also would say, I'd even grant this to them, that like in the ancient world, they were clearly importing tin from Cornwall and from Wales, like from that region. So there was obviously some contact. Like when I debate these British Israeli people, like I'm not like I'll grant them those things, but that is not proof of their claims. Those are just trade connections, and maybe there was some genetics left over, but that is not the basis for the entire genetic pool of people of the British Isles. And not even close.
direction. And then in the last days, they have to be north and at the ends of the earth, and they are exactly there. Haplogroup R is north in Europe and in Russia, and they're also at the ends of the earth in South America, South Africa, Australia, and New Zealand. This is during the Book of Joshua era. These are the 12 tribes. Edom is always close, but not part of the 12. The Edomites, or Ashkenazi, are adjacent to Israel, but not among them. Adjacent to the territory given to Jacob, but not of it. The exact proximity, Edom, or Idumea, maintained to Israel throughout ancient history.
Israel found. I saw a meme the other day, and they put like a bunch of different happy merchant faces on every one of these areas, but like with different clothes on. Like it was like, this is how I see this
saw
map.
That. It was so good. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, disavow happy merchant, of course, always, but that was such a good meme.
The whole Edomite lore thing is so dumb because they're just taking like a group of people who did convert, and maybe even forcibly, and maybe even large part that was like, you know, there's several conversions, but they have these conversions that happen, and they're saying like that is the basis for Jewry, and that is irrelevant even if it was true. If it would be totally relevant.
Yeah. Okay. I don't like that guy, but I'm gonna follow him.
That guy's guts.
I see. Okay, settle down. That escalated quickly.
I want to give him a titty twister and punch him into a locker. Like, what is going on, dude?
I'm like, I don't like him. You're like, I hate his guts.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Well, he's followed.
Really got out of hand fast.
People will be like, why do you follow this person, Adam? Oh, what? You played a clip of Nick? I guess that means you love him. Yeah, okay. Yeah, every rabbi I play, that means I secretly agree with them and love them. Totally. Good logic. I've never heard an atheist criticize Satan, only God. Why is that? Why is that, Amalek? 4,000 likes. Are you being serious?
I hate these people.
What's your answer?
What?
Hey, how come you CQ guys don't ever criticize Satan, only God?
Satan is like a mythological character in the Jewish lore pantheon. Okay? That's why we don't criticize him.
Yeah. What's the point of criticizing Satan when it's a Jewish boogeyman and he works for God, was created by God, isn't destroyed by God, serves a purpose for God?
And if our people in some weird like alternate universe where Christianity was actually like the worship of Satan, like the open worship of Satan, and that's what it was, like just instead of worshiping Jesus, it worshipped Satan, we would rail against Satan every day in the same way we do against Jesus. We would say Satan didn't exist historically, yada yada yada. That's actually kind of what we're saying about Jesus, is we're saying he was a figure analogous to Satan. He fought Satan in the skies, in the heavens, and that's what bore out the Christian myth, okay? Is a figure exactly like Satan. So if Satan was what all of the European people were worshiping, that is what we would rail against. So your argument doesn't even make sense. It's stupid.
It's like, I've never heard a teenager criticize the Grinch, only Santa Claus. How come? Or it's like they'll be like, how come the whole world, Jesus is real because everybody hates him and says he's not real. And it's like, or they'll be like, Jesus and Christianity is real because these people really worship Satan. It's like these people's logic. They're just, it's like simpleton mind tricks that's been played
all
on
100,000 Satanists in the world, fuck them too. They can all get fucked. They don't get outside of any criticism, but who cares about them? They don't do anything. They're not even real. It's like a fake LARP.
Mm-hmm. There it is, says the Orthobro account. 5,000 likes. So how did a false messiah fulfill so many prophecies? I don't believe this is Reddit. I don't believe there is any possibility that Christianity is a true religion, but since my deconstruction, this is the one thing I still don't have an explanation for. That's wild. A former Christian thinks they deconstructed, but they still can't figure out how Jesus fulfilled so many prophecies. How slow are people?
It's the dumbest thing of all time.
How can they not put it together simply that like they knew the prophecies and they wrote a story fulfilling the prophecies? It's not hard to write a story fulfilling prophecies when you know what they are.
And Jesus doesn't even fulfill the prophecies, by the way, guys. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, he doesn't fulfill Isaiah 2 or Ezekiel 30.
Some, though.
He does some, I know, but he doesn't fulfill like the main ones. He doesn't gather all Jews back to Israel, which is one of the main things. He doesn't establish universal knowledge and universal worship of God with all the goyim worshiping the God of Israel. He does in the poetic way that we talk about, right? But they're expecting like an actual figure that they bowed down to that did that, and Jesus doesn't really do that. And then the world peace. I mean, could you really look at last 2,000 years and say like, oh, there's been world peace? No. So there's other prophecies that they have too, but like the Jews have like an honest argument here to say that Jesus didn't fulfill all of them. And
didn't fulfill the main ones. It fulfills all these things that are like out of context and not even prophecies read mystically. It fulfills those, but not like the actual straightforward reading on a lot of the main ones.
And he even might have fulfilled like 75%. That's, or however you want to measure it. I don't think he did. I'm just saying, like, if you want to grant somebody that argument, that's fine. But I'm just saying, like, the Jews aren't crazy for saying he wasn't the Messiah, and they don't think that the Messiah is also part of God, obviously, right? So it's like you guys are like mixing up two different ideas in their lore, and then saying like you guys are misreading your own lore. Like that's a dumb place to argue with somebody at. I don't know.
Jack Stone thinks that this might be a Christian pretending to be an ex-Christian, trying to still convince them with the prophecies.
They would never do that, dude.
Of course not. Let's see what the answers are. He didn't fulfill anything. They took old stories and made a new prophecy-fulfilling story. He didn't. It's all our guys destroying them, it looks like. Because the Jews that wrote the Bible looked at the old prophecies and made up stories where how come everybody else can get this, but these Christians?
Scroll up. Read that one up there. That is the fucking craziest.
This one?
This is crazy. Reminds me of the Adamwaffen people tried burning their Bibles in a bizarre LARP pagan bonfire rituals, and the Bibles refused to burn in the fires. The Talmuds and Korans would burn, but the Bibles never did. The FBI agent said that the members were perplexed and confused. Bro, what are we doing, guys?
400 likes?
Dude, this is like crazy that this is happening. This is like that guy that asked you that question the other day. We are seeing a totally new form of theology coming out of the internet, guys, and it is mixing like white nationalism aesthetics and ideas and groups with this crazy shit. It's like modern midrash. This is nuts.
And look, this account, Moses of Seal, has me blocked.
Dude, that is an awesome post.
Never heard of him. Dude, there's so many never heard of accounts that have me blocked that are just straight schizo retards.
Dude, I love that guy's post. I'm retweeting the fuck out of that, dude. That's so good. Oh, wait, is he from Not America, too? Let me tell you.
Yeah.
No, he is. Oh, man, that's such a good post.
All right. Speaking of that, no, 3 minutes. I'm not going to do that right now. Let's see Rabbi Flesher talk with CBN about the Jewish nationalism in the Third Temple. Amalek clip. Let's see. How much
There's
are
some
you
nice
past
little short
10,000?
ones. I like to throw out these like short ones I can get real quick that just like have like putting some of this into context. A lot of people just like don't even know any of this is going on or exists. They don't know about the Third Temple flags, or they don't know about Jerusalem Day or anything like that. 'Cause, they're not dialed into it as much as we are. So I think it's important that we cover what's going on in relation to like the high holidays and the national holidays and things like that going on. I was saying this the other day, like we should cover like the day-to-day holidays and explain where they come from and stuff. And this one,
Joel Webbin is on Alex Jones right now. I just saw.
Oh God.
Or that was an hour ago. Jesus.
Well, anyway, this isn't like a crazy clip or anything. It's just him just talking about it and showing that Christians are their best friends. You could probably play it at like 1.5 or something like that.
Okay.
But they love Christians and.
Let's see these flags. Temple, Third Temple. You see it right there, okay? I love these flags. They're so simple and awesome. Third Temple, thirdtemple.org. See that? That's a simple and awesome message that these girls
That's right, guys.
are walking with.
thirdtemple.org.
So what's up, man? CBN, right?
Yes, sir.
I love CBN. You guys are doing great work. Isn't it cool that? Should we turn around so we can see the awesome people there? Look at this.
Oh, they spit on Christians.
It's like huge. It's massive. Here.
Did you know about this, Josh?
This is my second Jerusalem day.
Huh?
My second Jerusalem day, so I'm still pretty new.
Isn't it awesome?
It's a lot of fun.
What does it say to you?
It says to me that Jews love to dance.
Jews love to dance, but we love to dance in a rebuilt Jerusalem.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
What does it feel like to you to be here with this many people that are excited about? And I see a lot of flags too like that. It says the Third Temple.
Third Temple. Because I don't know if I want to say this publicly because it's a secret. We're working on the Third Temple. Okay, the return of the Jewish.
Newsflash.
Yeah.
See, guys? They're not hiding this.
God bless you. God bless you. God bless the
This
nation.
is the type of thing that we can point out and
Shalom.
say, like, look, they're doing this thing, and they will say, yes, we are, and we got them. It's done. We do not have to
You know what's
pretend
funny?
like
I'm
it's-
assuming this guy is a Christian and a Gentile here from CBN. And the fact, think of all the energy online of people focused on lying about us and attacking us. And then this guy just probably never gets anything. All the focus is on people like us lying and coping. And they give these guys a free pass that are actually have the influence and the power
And then
in
they say that
carrying this
we
out.
never talk about these people, where I talk about these people regularly. I like to point them out regularly. I would like to actually start finding their Zoom calls and stuff, because they organize and they do all this stuff publicly, guys. It's not crazy. They don't do this in like dark rooms or anything like that. They broadcast what they're doing behind the veil of religiosity, right? Like that's the problem. So they're open about it. It's not a secret, okay? Like this person wants to rebuild the Third Temple and all these other stuff. Pete Hegseth wants to rebuild the Third Temple. People are like freaking out about this stuff. This is what they openly proclaim. This is not a secret. This is their stated goals.
Okay, check out what it feels like. Now there's like I'm in a moment of I'm between a lot of the big traffic.
You gotta
people.
watch what
I
he's
wanted
about.
to give you a feeling
I
what it
kept
feels
this
like
part
to
in
walk
'cause it's
in
funny when he's
Yerushalayim,
about to show
to
it.
walk in the streets of Yerushalayim. Get a feeling of that. Here we go. Check this out. Yerushalayim HaKodesh. We love Yerushalayim. Oh my gosh. And just get a feeling for what it's like to walk down Jerusalem. Look at that. There's a magic light in Jerusalem. First, let's say hi to the horses. Let's see the horses. See, we got all kinds of police officers. In this case, we got the horseback.
We got all kinds of police officers.
Well, those are intense and awesome. Those are intense and awesome.
See that guy?
Yeah, Ethiopian Jew.
Yeah, dude. We have all kinds of police officers, he says. So yeah, Jerusalem Day, guys, just so if you guys don't know what that is, it's not like a high holiday or anything like that. It's like, I guess it's a religious holiday in some ways, but really it's about the 6-Day War, I think, the capture of East Jerusalem. So like I said, I think understanding these guys are obsessed with like the holidays and the meaning of the holidays, and they like use that to reinforce their identity. There was one person that they had on there. Hold on, let me see if I'll bring it up. You can go to the next clip.
Let's see Jake Lang disrupt and get arrested, I think, at Chud the Builder's hearing. Haven't seen it yet. This guy is a spurg and super sus. Not Chud,
All right,
Jake.
for the record, Mr. Ethley's now in the courtroom with...
Your Justice.
All right, take him into custody. Take him into custody. I told you, sir, you did not have a speaking role today. You decided that you wanted one for whatever reason. I don't know why, but take him into custody. However, anybody on that side of the bar does not have a speaking role in any of these proceedings today. There's not going to be any hoopla or shenanigans from the gallery. You're going to be removed, and I'll talk about that in a second.
Reasonable to have a gag order on the defendant should he make bond, and I guess even while he's in the jail and has his, I don't know, iPad or whatever, but he cannot live stream, post, or anything that indirectly or directly encompasses these offenses.
That's a $1 million bond.
What? He's not allowed to talk about what happened? What kind of rule is that?
No, that's a very common thing in cases like this. It's not it's bullshit. I agree. It's stupid and it's fucked. These types of things.
Because it's like jury tampering or something? The jury will hear what he says that's not in the courtroom?
I kind of understand why it's an issue, right? Like, how do you deal with this in the modern age? Like, back in the day, you wouldn't want somebody up in a court, up before their court, like going around the village being like, hey, like doing the court in the public audience, you know what I mean? Like talking about their case, it makes sense why they had this. But in the today's age with technology and things like that, like there has to be some sort of different way to do this. I don't know. I'd be interested to hear Basil's take on this type of thing, because I'm not too sure like how you would even deal with this. Like the legal stuff isn't my.
Yeah, it's very common. Yeah, I know it's common.
Condition.
Just that's so stupid.
GPS monitor. There will be a gag order for Mr. Etherly regarding social media live streaming about the facts or the parties involved in this case.
So they're about to let him out?
Yes.
Sounds like they're gonna let him post bail and wear a GPS monitor.
That's what it sounds like, but not allowed to talk on the internet or anything like that, or do interviews and stuff, which, that's probably good for him. Like I said, I hope he does get off and all those other things. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm gonna sit back and cry about this. Yeah, this clip, we don't have to watch the whole thing at all. I just wanted to point out how crazy it is that people have the audacity to say, like, the secular state of Israel, and like, look at this guy. He's like, he's a member of the religious Zionist party.
This thing, right? This is what religious Zionism stands for, and this is a giant religious Zionist party. You were also involved in Bnei Akiva, right? You came up through that system. Right, exactly. So tell me a little bit about what you're seeing today.
What we're seeing here, this is the essence of Am Yisrael, Eretz Yisrael, and Torah Yisrael, the combination of these three values. And basically, this is what Jerusalem is standing for.
Wait, translate to English. What are those three values?
Am Yisrael, the people of Israel, Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel, and Torah Yisrael, the Torah of Israel. And this is what we are
See, that's what their book is about. That's what their religion's about. That's what the whole thing is about.
Yeah, and then meanwhile we got the low IQ anti-Semites online saying they don't even believe the Torah. It's the Talmud bad. Torah is good. They don't even believe it. They don't follow it properly. They're not even really Jews. Yeah, that's really gonna take off. That's really going somewhere.
2.5 years ago, we had started with this war. Now our enemies reminding us what is the war about, and they call it the Al-Aqsa flood, because the war is actually about Jerusalem. It's not about Gaza. It's not about I don't know.
The war is they don't want us to destroy the dome and rebuild our temple. That's the war.
expanding their territory. It's about Jerusalem. And this is what we have to remember to understand what we're fighting about.
Wow. Is this bigger than the way it used to be when you were like a Madrid, when you were a Bnei Akiva guy?
Every year it grows. We are seeing more and more people connecting themselves to Jerusalem, to their roots, to the foundations of our nations, and it's incredible. It's you have to come and see it and feel it with your own eyes and with your own ears. Being here, come next time.
Amen. Okay, let's get political for a second. As I'm interviewing you today, you're a Knesset member, you're happy, but it looks like the Knesset is about to be disbanded and a call for slightly early elections. How does that feel? What do you think? How do you feel that way?
First of all, I'm not sure that we are going to see the elections before the original date. There's still a good chance that we will see the elections on the original date, which is October 27th. And maybe
I think they'll still be on October 27th too. I think they're going to win out,
which is
kicking the can down the road.
Before. I
talked to a
we
few
should take it
people
as
about
much
this.
as we can because we still have a lot of things to accomplish. We still need to do
the like Haaretz and Forward and stuff about it.
They're about to have an election?
They're trying to force it early, and I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to actually, like he's saying, like it's not. It's up in the air still. I think he's right. I think it's actually going to still go on October 27th. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, it could go either way. I'm not like a Israeli. I don't have inside scoop there or anything.
Victory against Iran. We have Lebanon and Hezbollah. We still have Hamas, and we want to finish this with as many accomplishments as possible.
Knesset member Oatal, in many ways, at least in my memory, this has been the best government Israel's ever seen. In my recent memory, I don't remember any government that I felt was more representative of our values, more moving forward in the land of Israel. I could complain about a lot of things, but I'm not going to. I'm going to say right now, this was an amazing government coupled with the amazing Trump administration. A lot has moved forward. Do you have hope, seriously, that the next government is going to be like this? There's some talk about
100%. First of all, because we have.
Do you agree with what I said about this government?
100%. What we accomplished in the last 4 years is beyond imagination.
So even if they have an election, guys, nothing is changing, by the way. Just to be clear. The coalition might shake up, but.
As like never been before, we just recognized and built over 100 new communities over Judea and Samaria. We are destroying unbelievable amount of illegal Palestinian houses. We are building Judea and Samaria. We're basically applying sovereignty de facto in the land. This is not something we could
No one's
imagine.
sharing this clip though, right? This has like what 10 views. Just a member of the Knesset just bragging about demolishing,
taking over Judea and Samaria.
Yeah.
He said building hundreds of communities.
Yeah. And that it's not stopping the whole thing. Like no one's posting these clips, right? Like everyone's seething about pagans, seething about whatever the fuck.
Like never been before, we just recognized and built
aliens.
Over 100 new communities over Judea and Samaria.
Is that even true? 100 new communities in the West Bank?
All the time. I consistently go and like search to see, like confirm what these guys claim, and almost every time it's debunked or it's like not true. So it's hard to know.
Is he talking like ever?
I mean,
we would be hearing about all these new communities if that were true. I feel like.
I have heard. I mean, that is going on. That is what's going on in some of the there are. Al Jazeera has reported some of this stuff recently, and who else was it? I can't remember off the top of my head. Another source like that, news source like that. So they are reporting this type of thing, but it's like they just admit it openly, guys. Like the religion is the way to go about critiquing this. The left is wrong when they say Judaism is not Zionism, okay? And the right wing is also wrong when they say Judaism is not Zionism. It is one creature operating together. It's just. This is how it works, and we don't need to be like weird about it. We don't need to be like calling it white colonial settlerism like the left does, and we don't need to be on the right calling them like Baal worshipping baby eaters or Khazars.
Unbelievable amount of illegal Palestinian houses. We are building Judea and Samaria. We're basically applying sovereignty de facto in the land. This is not something we could even dream to do before this government was established.
Applying sovereignty de facto. Do you understand? Like that is illegal.
now in Gaza, though we haven't managed to accomplish everything and to take down Hamas, but still we're holding now 60% of the Gaza Strip, which I hope that we will also resettle with Jewish communities. This is what we should do, because that's the only essence of victory. We're now holding hundreds of square kilometers in Lebanon, also in Syria. We are taking down piece by piece the Iranian regime. So yes, and look at the economy. The economy is exploding. So thank God we have a lot of siyata d'shmaya. Hashem is helping, God is helping us, and I hope that He will continue to help us, and we will have 4 more years of taking more steps to connect the people of Israel with the land of Israel.
And I also mentioned President Trump. I think that he's given this right-wing nationalist government
Hashem put him in the right time, in the right place. Just imagine that if he would win
Hashem's boy.
And now we would have stuck with, I don't know, somebody like Kamala Harris. Oh my goodness. Of course, all these accomplishments, everything we've seen in Iran could not have happened. So thank God.
Remember when people were like, Kamala's a Zionist too. No matter what, they're all Zionists. It's like, dude, they're nowhere near as much Zionist as Trump is. Listen to what they think.
Well, the religious thing is the big angle, right? Like, Kamala Harris and these guys, like, they are not fulfilling Jewish prophecies, or at least able to in the same way. I mean, they couldn't even deal with, like, college kids on campuses, okay? Like, the liberals couldn't even deal with that, okay? Like, meanwhile, this is what we get on the other side. I don't know. I don't even think the election is, like, all about that either. Like, there's other factors, so it's, and I don't even know if the elections matters, but whatever.
Thank God, Hashem put him at the right time, in the right place, and this is what we're seeing today.
Knesset member Olantal, we want to wish you lots of success in the elections. Continue to do great things in this Knesset. You've done a lot of great things.
Thank you,
your party's done a lot of great things.
Thank you so much.
And this government in general, I'm very proud of it. It's been a great time. I can only say, Michael El Chai, let's keep going from strength to strength.
Amen, amen.
And may we see the rebuilding of Jerusalem.
Amen. Am Israel Chai. Am Israel Chai.
They're doing like pep rallies to rebuild the third temple, guys. Like, do you understand that? That's what's going on in Jerusalem, and what's going on in Edom, what's going on in the Goyim verse. Oh, well, we're all talking about fucking aliens and Khazarians and Amy Dangerfield's sexual past and all these other things. Obviously, I've been part of that, so I get that, but understand what's going on, where everyone is just totally distracted. And that's why they're able to do this. They're able to get away with it.
This pose with his fingers in his pants is so funny. Eric Arville, Return to the Land, has trying to build a little community in rural Arkansas, I believe, and now is getting sued by this woman. They're calling her a Jewish woman. I think she wrote that on her thing, like on her application, but I'm also hearing she's only like a quarter Jewish and was raised Christian, so identifies as a white Christian lady, is suing the whites-only community in Arkansas for discrimination. Accuses Return to the Land of denying her the right to purchase land based on her religion, ancestry, and the race of her family members. However, she did admit she had no intention of living there, stating, "A good investment is a good investment," which is such a bad faith lie. You're not trying to invest in this, you dumb bitch. What jury is going to go along with, oh, okay, sure you did? They're clearly just seething, not wanting any people to associate with neighbors they want to associate with in their own little... the loophole they're doing is like that it's some LLC or something, some organization buys the land and it's a club and you buy a membership to the club or something like that.
You buy like shares into a corporation of some kind.
Shares in a corporation.
And you're on like the board, basically. Yeah.
Where you can build, and then you can build or live in some kind of structure they have there. So now he's raising money. The NAACP is on the lawsuit as well. You saw that? Now, I like Arville. Arville's been nice to me, cool to me, had me on a show, did a good faith debate with me. He talked to us in a space. We disagree on a lot of religious issues, but I support his right to do his little thing that he's trying to do. And I don't like the people trying to crush it with lawfare like they're doing. But I would be more supportive if not for his dumb partner that he's doing this community with, who slandered me online and called me Jewish because of the Christian stuff. So F him. But I did send Arvel the book. He said he'd take a look at the book. I sent it. I know he's read some of it. He talked about it in one of his interviews he gave. So that's cool. Daily Mail. Arkansas whites only community sued for discrimination by women with black husband whose application to buy land was denied. Is that even accurate? They're not buying the land technically. They're buying like ownership shares into this organization.
Yeah, I just think Daily Mail wants to go with like the most simplistic thing ever, right? But yeah, you're right.
It's funny, there's all of these Jewish enclave communities that they do. They try to buy up neighborhoods that the Orthodox can have to themselves and insulate themselves like a nation within a nation and have their own thing. And nobody bats an eye, but one guy in the middle of nowhere in Arkansas has like basically a glorified, I don't want to call it a trailer park, but it's not any type of like luxurious living or anything
It's
like
homesteading.
that.
He's trying to
Sheds,
do, like,
homesteading, sheds and huts and stuff. Yeah. And this woman decides she needs to shut it down.
I will say, like, dude, like this is part of the issues that both the Gentiles, white people, everyone in this sphere are like talking past the Jews, and the Jews are talking past us. Like, no one really understands this topic. Okay, the Orthodox religious Jews in America are like a specific subset group, and I would say most of them are probably fine with what Arvel is doing. Yes, they might complain about the anti-Semitism shit and all that thing, but I think most of them probably don't even think about Arvel. They're doing their own Jewish thing. That's kind of how they feel about people like him, is like they're doing their own Jewish thing. Got it. And they might donate to organizations that then crush groups like Arvel, right? However, the real types of Jews that are doing this is like these liberal, cosmopolitan, the type of Jews that like don't want the same things that these religious Jews do. That's the ones that go after this type of thing because it upsets this idea of the race blind, post-racist America that those types of Jews are all basically just high on, right?
Like didn't some blacks try to do this? They tried to create some black only community, right? And then like nobody cared. They celebrated it. But if a white group does it, also I think it's just a fact that like, leftists, maybe if they're inspired by their 24% Jewish, who knows, they want to nip this in the bud so that it doesn't like take off. The idea doesn't take off. This doesn't become the norm in every city. This doesn't go from trailer parks to, private gated community neighborhoods under the same structure framework. That's what I think they actually fear.
Yeah, that's why they're talking past each other, because in reality, like the real problem is the Civil Rights Act. Okay, guys, like I don't know what to tell you. Like if you want to attack this issue, you have to attack the basis of the Civil Rights Act, and anything you do outside of that is just like pussyfooting around. Part of why I think that they should have done their compound is like organize it totally differently, because the way they've done this and the way that they've set up this LLC and all these things, this is like not a novel way of setting up a place like this. This has been tried before in the 90s. It was tried before in the 80s by various white nationalist groups. Okay, so they're just like retrying it again, hoping that like the public is more with us or with them now than they would have been back then. But there's no evidence for that, and they should have done like a novel solution, like a different way of doing this, other than like repeating the same way. That's what I would say to them. And like, if you're gonna do like a play where you're like, oh, but the court case itself will bring attention to the problem, like, okay, then all that is like activism, and you should be like upfront about what you're doing. And I don't think that they are like that, and I don't think that that is like a good strategy for that type of activism. If you're gonna do that type of activism, you got to do like you got to do it in a different legal way. I would say like a better way to do this would have been to say that you are a religion, you are a religious group that is non-Christian, because you can't be Christian to do this, and that you have to be part of that religion to join the land or be part of the land, that it's like basically a church or a worship. And then what do you make the church or the religion? As minimalist, nothing as possible to legally keep yourself within the religion category. That's how you actually
do you have to make it like a European religion where like you have to be European?
I mean, you can pick whatever rules you want to have in your religion. You can say that in our religion, if you want to join, the magical ghost person in our head that talks to our prophet has to okay you. And the person could walk up and the prophet could just say, oh, no, I don't like you. You don't have to explain why. Every other religion uses magical reasoning how to get into theirs. Christians use baptism. That's not real. Jews use circumcision. That doesn't actually give you a magical thing with God. So if a bunch of Europeans said, hey, our religion is Europeanism or sciencism, whatever the fuck you want to name it, I literally don't care what you name it, by the way, or what you build it around. I don't care. And then say, okay, we choose our membership into the religion and that's how you get the land. At least that would be a novel legal attack at this issue, or a novel legal way of bringing up this problem, okay? And doing it the way they're doing it is just, like I said, I think it's just a waste of time. That's all. And I get it that they'll call it a cult, and it even, I admit that would basically be susceptible to like weird Waco sex cult thing. I agree, actually, and I almost feel like, but the problem is that it already has those vibes. So
it's annoying how it's like they don't allow freedom of association. Like she's mad that a group of people want to get together and have a little community with people that they share values with, they share background with. To say you can't do that, you can't go in the middle of the nowhere and have a little, community of huts. You have to let me in.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I know about creationism and all these other groups, guys. That's I know about all these things. That's what I'm saying. Like Arval could have done this differently in a way that's like an iteration of what those groups have done. That's what I'm saying. Okay, like I'm not, like I said, I'm just trying to offer some critique.
Sent $5 on Rumble.
Some fair critique.
And BTW, it's other whites oppressing us. They are the ones solidifying all this anti-white. Am I wrong?
Yeah, and it's like she wrote on her thing that she has some Jewish ancestry because that's going to be part of the lawsuit. They didn't let her in because she's Jewish, because that's stuff that Arval was saying, right? What is she going to say? She's black? They didn't let her in because she's black? So she said that. But I saw, and if this really is true, why is nobody talking about this? She identifies as white. She's Christian. Why is that not being brought up? You don't think it's Christian groups that are going to be standing in the way, trying to oppose this too? Of course they would. Or leftist groups.
Yeah.
Just any group.
Like I said, I know about the Church of Creativity and stuff like that, but those weren't perfect either. They had their own issues. What I'm saying is take that seed of the idea, and Arval should have grown the idea, iterated on the idea. He would have been the perfect person for it. He's like a Platonist, guys. Like that's what I want. I want Arval and that group to ascend. I want them to be like the best chicken farmer, homesteader, white people autists that could possibly exist in America. That's what I want for them, and I just think that the way they've gone about it basically undermines that. That's what my critique of them is. And he should shut the fuck up about the ballistics expert shit with the Charlie Kirk death.
He shouldn't be a Charlie Kirk truther.
Yeah, no, we shouldn't do that. But the interviews and things like that, I don't think it's whatever. Like I said, I'm just trying to offer fair critique. I'm not trying to attack the guy or anything. And I hope they win this. I obviously hope they win this. I just don't think it's a novel. I don't think that the way that they organized this was like a novel legal solution. So I just think it's going to get wrecked in court. I don't even. They're going to lose, and they're going to raise a bunch of money off it and all sorts of other things, and they're going to lose, and then people are going to blame the Jews, and it's like that's fine. You can do that if you want, but is that really ever going to stop this cycle, guys? It's not. This is just going to continuously happen. We're just continuously dealing with this problem. The Gentiles versus the Jews, talking past each other, arguing past each other. And we got to, the cycle itself is the problem. We got to stop that.
All right, where are we at? About to hit 2 hours. That's about all I have for today, for the weekend. Is there anything else worth watching in the Sam Leeper, Robin Faith Walsh clip?
I mean, that whole thing was really interesting. Maybe you want to watch it on your own time or something like that. But Spencer just retweeted my buy edit. That's funny. With what's her name? Yeah, I would.
Check this out. Neil had a debate with this pyramids conspiracy kook, Dan Richards.
Oh, I forgot I had to watch this.
This is a cool little studio. What's? Oh, that's the footrest. Matt Beal. Look at what is up with the background? Oh, bro, dude. Aliens, mushrooms.
There's so
I've
many
never
of these
even heard of
podcasts,
this
and it's like
guy.
a whole network of intelligence.
Bigfoot.
Like, how easy is it for the intelligence community to like fund something like this with foot cream sponsors and all those sorts of other stupid shit that gets sold in these types of podcasts?
Yeah, dude. All the salt lamps is kind of a cool vibe. I want a studio like this, dude. This is so chill. Yeah, Matt Beal. Never heard of this guy. Does he have a huge following? They're debating the pyramids.
He runs the channel, I believe it's called Dedunking, and it's I mean, there's things I agree with him on, and there's things that I think he's wrong about. He does a lot of the deconstructing of Graham Hancock, and I would actually say he's like a respectable person online. I do think he's got authentic views and things like that. I just think him and Neil disagree on some specific things that we probably agree with Neil on, but he also does, the Dedunking guy does a good job of debunking in a fair way some of the kooky like ancient civilization stuff.
He's Matt Beal podcast, 80,000 subscribers.
Oh, that's the Matt Beal podcast. I'm talking about the guy he's debating.
Oh, yeah. I said his name, Dan Richards.
Yeah, Dan Richards. Dedunking is his name. Yeah.
He's been beefing with Professor Dave. Professor Dave has videos on him, calling him out. Yeah. Oh, look, he has a video with Ashton about orbs. The Watchers. Dude, it's cool.
This is a kooky channel. That's true. Well, that's kind of what the Dedunking guy does. He goes through some of that stuff and debunks some of that stuff, and some of it he doesn't. It's funny that this guy's hosting that debate then.
Yeah, this guy, he has this guy on too. I forget his name, but he's doing all the conspiracy kook stuff.
Yeah, all this conspiracy, aliens, mystical, magical, AI, God, psychedelics mixed in with it. Like, for people who are into any one of those or many of those things, like, this isn't a knock against you, but it's clearly being pushed by the intelligence communities on not just right-wing people at this point, but left-wing people too. It's like an extension of whatever the Rogan psyop was. It's like an extension of that. It's like they basically are trying to make 1,000 Rogans. Yeah,
and I'm not going to say I don't think all of them are intelligence. Clearly, it's just this is kosher conspiratainment that people love.
We should start a religion where exercise, permaculture, and the scientific method are types of prayers/worship.
Yeah.
Studying optical illusions to encourage existential humility in a druid grove would be kino.
Sounds pretty chill. Sounds pretty good.
Well, yeah,
he's also beefing with Robert Zepper. Who is Dan Richards?
Yeah, he was. He's ripping him good too. I like that. If Zephyr
who was ripping who?
Dedunking was ripping Zephyr.
Let's see a little bit of this. I want to see how this goes.
Hold on, real quick. I'm not saying that this guy is the host, is like intelligence. What I'm saying is the intelligence community just has to sponsor you, and you wouldn't even know that you're being promoted. So all they need to do is find people talking about these types of topics, their small YouTube channel, whatever it is, and then just give them deals like that. There doesn't need to be like a, hey, you're gonna say this or that. That's like any outside of like sponsorship deals. They wouldn't even know, is what I'm saying.
Dude, Neil shows up with the socks and sandals. He's like, I didn't know my feet were going to be in the shot.
What
in
evidence
shorts.
Is there that the Romans built Baalbek?
Oh, a lot.
Yeah, the big stones that they
The
cut
trilithon,
that they cut
trilithon?
and moved the.
I mean, the material underneath it is Roman. So how do they get the older one above the old?
The material underneath is Roman.
Yeah.
No.
Thank you, big
material
big swag fella.
We should start a religion where we take steroids and get really jacked and do science and.
Science and shit. I agree. That's my religion. Get jacked, eat beef jerky, and do science and shit.
No. It's all the material. There's
like the Romans.
Section where it becomes unambiguous.
Mogmaxing. Yes. Dude, I've never heard anybody say that before. Mogmaxing. That's a good one.
Problems. You could see the same exact style. That style right there. You know the Herod's temple built in the same century.
Yeah.
Same style. And it just doesn't have that same size stone.
Okay, but that's the only other place you see that used.
Because it's from the same time period.
Okay, and again, above it, we see actual
It's not actually
Roman
the only place
construction.
either.
And I'll point out a few things to you to show you that it's not Roman.
Wait, hold on. Are they arguing that the Western Wall is a Roman fort?
Number one.
Did I miss this?
I don't know what they're arguing about.
Why did this clip start there? I don't understand. Can you start it at the beginning? I guess I missed it.
That the Romans built Baalbek.
Baalbek. Did the Romans build Baalbek? They're talking about. This is Baalbek.
Browns still do. The stone of the pregnant woman, the other two stones in Baalbek, they are measured with the Roman foot. The Trilithon's not. It's not measured with the Roman foot. The other thing, another really big one is the Romans put their most impressive features
Eastern Lebanon
right in your damn face when you walked in. This is on the back side. You got no, hang on. You got to back.
Gigantic Roman temples of Jupiter, Bacchus, and Venus. Look at these. These are badass.
Yeah, I don't even understand what the argument is.
Does he think some ancient Aryan race built them?
To find it. So why
was
was
usually
against
that?
No,
That's of blocks.
To some degree,
anyway. And we know they can lift that stuff. Have you read Vitruvius? You never read Vitruvius?
Some of the largest carved stone blocks ever used in ancient construction.
In Catherine the Great's time, and it took modern metallurgy of the day, and they barely pulled.
Heliopolis.
So Vitruvius.
Heliopolis.
Yeah. So what he does a lot of times is he takes the true claims that some of these ancient Earth theorists or ancient advanced civilization theorists make. He takes some of their best claims and he defends them while attacking some of their worst claims. So this is one of the better claims that they have is how did Baalbek get built? I think I've seen stuff about this before.
Okay. So the Romans did it between the 1st and 3rd century, and there's conspiracy people that say that the lower megalithic platform predates the Roman by a very long time. So that's what they're saying, that the Romans built on top of an ancient structure.
In Book 10.
Yeah, and that those blocks are so big to move that an ancient civilization couldn't have possibly moved them, basically.
Talks about
which I don't agree with, by the way.
Stones of heavy weight. It's a whole chapter on it.
And in real history, we've tried it,
technology
and we couldn't do it.
Described about how it's done with levers,
so does
pulleys,
Graham Hancock
cranes.
and Christopher Dunn. I don't care. I mean, we have people that tried. Catherine the Great's people tried to move a stone smaller than this.
That you could point to people who.
Okay, well, that's what you're doing.
He's
right
talking
now,
about what's that
you're
stone
telling me
called?
Somebody that doesn't, that
look it up.
He could have been blowing smoke.
Thunderstone?
Catherine the Great's people recorded it all, and we know that they had to repeatedly use the most modern metallurgy of the time. And the other thing, well, like I was saying, they put this on the back side, and you can disregard that, but I would challenge you to find another Roman edifice with the most impressive feature on the back side. And then the other one,
you could point to the Herod's wall was the backside, and it looks just like this.
The other thing that I would
Herod's
point out,
wall.
yeah, the other thing that I would point out here is that we are looking at the Romans did what do we call it, equal things.
So
yeah, that's not even.
I talked to Neil about this before, by the way. I can't believe he didn't say this. The Thunderstone that guy just cited is 1,500 tons. The stones that we're talking about on Baalbek are 800, 1,000. There's one that's 1,600, so that's above the Thunderstone, right? So I get it, but most of the stones are way under the 1,500 mark that the Thunderstone that he's referencing is. And guess what? They did move the Thunderstone. So what are we like? Neil's just totally right here. I don't know. In my view, a lot of these things that we can't explain how they move large stones is explainable by Neil goes into it. Just you can hit play. He explains it. I'm sure.
Yeah,
what do you mean? Look at the bottom.
These pulley systems and leverage systems and things like that.
And look, if you can go the ones inside the building, because the wall keeps going.
And tons of manual labor.
Find a way to get inside there. It looks even bigger. Look how, dude. That's the same wall.
How much do those weigh? The biggest ones there.
The biggest ones there are probably 200.
They're the biggest stones that were ever moved by human hands at Baalbek.
See, they're doing the same thing here on the Western Wall. Bigger blocks at the bottom, and on the top, they do smaller ones. Get smaller and smaller.
A lot of the ancient temples were built on older temples, guys. It's a very old grift. That's what we're trying to tell everybody.
It's the biggest one.
Okay.
So we're comparing style, but it's not the same size.
Okay. Now, Romans used where they tried to make things.
That's not the one.
Ryan,
they tried to make things.
We couldn't build them today. It's such a lie.
You put it on the left side. You put it on the right side. Symmetry. Romans were very big on symmetry, which is why there's 3 other stones in the ground because they were going to emulate the Trilithon when the Romans came and took the site over. And in my mind, they had dudes tasked to dig it up, and then somebody else comes in.
Where's
and
the evidence of the temple that was there before? Do you think people would talk about this gigantic megalithic temple that's there? There's nothing. It never gets talked about. It's only after this is built. It's only after the first century.
Show me why didn't the Romans record when they built it?
He's right. He's right. Neil is so right.
Never once talk about building the Romans.
There's tons and tons. There's tons of Greek writings about that region. There was a whole war there where the city of Tyre, the Phoenician city of Tyre is being sieged for years, for a very long time, and they're right next to that spot. And there's tons of writings of troops movements through that area and people talking about the different cults and all sorts of other stuff. And not a single one ever mentions one of these temples until the Romans' time. We just don't understand how the Romans built it or moved these things or any of that stuff, or not just the Romans, but the people who put it there beforehand. We don't really understand fully how they did it. And like Neil's idea is like the most likely, I would say. We're just not 100% sure. But the idea that it was like magic is so stupid, or that it was this ancient civilization with high technology, that is a huge leap. That's a massive leap.
Stones at Trilithon. They talk
No,
about
no,
building.
not
They
building
talk
it.
about
They
building.
talk about it, though.
Okay, so
Yeah, but it's all after that period.
But you're asking me why is there no record of it? But then I'm asking you, the Romans
There's
who
not
took
a record of everything
the Romans
being built.
the Romans who kept meticulous records of what they built. The
Romans
Romans
kept
kept
very
historical Jesus debate, huh?
Why do I know when the Parthenon was built? That's the Greeks. Why do I know when the Colosseum was built? Why do I know? Why do I know when Hadrian's Wall was built? Why do I know when Hadrian's Wall was built?
Those are like
That's just a fucking wall.
Yeah, but that you're talking about ones that
Hadrian's
everyone knows.
Wall
There's
was built
so
in
many
the-
buildings that have no records on it at all.
And
hundreds and
so
maybe
then why are you
1,000 I can
invoking?
put-
Yeah, he's like, why is there no record of this random wall?
That as an evidence against it.
But because after
Yeah, the
this
Romans
is
were
built,
G's, dude. They were fucking engineering masters of the world, of physical reality. They were bending physical reality to meet what was in their minds. They thought, we want a road from Rome to Gaul, and they built it. And they fucking did the whole thing. They were master engineers, guys. Okay? They were the ancient geniuses of the world. In the same way we're technologically more advanced than all the rest of the world, that's how the Romans were with engineering. Okay? And like, people should just respect that. I don't think that, I'm not going to say that Dunking's like anti-white or anything like that. I do think he's like anti-white identity politics. He doesn't like that. But this is, in my view, anti-white shit when they do this stuff. They're denying what the Romans did in this area, or even if it was the Middle Easterners that did the initial laying of the foundation. It's like denying that and attributing it to some fake super civilization or magic or aliens or anything else. Like, it's a way of shitting on the people that did that. This was their life's achievement of multiple generations of labor and living, and people lived and died, and their whole economy was built around making these temples. And then we're just gonna 2,000 years later or more say, oh yeah, aliens did that? Like, that is so fucked up.
They do the same thing with like Tartaria too. They go, oh, all the cities used to have so much better buildings, but then there was fires and they all disappeared, blah blah blah, right? Like some ancient giants made them or something.
Talked about by contemporary writers.
Okay.
Lucian of Samosata lived in 150 AD. He talks about this whole temple complex.
Absolutely.
But no one before it does.
And we talk about the period. Nobody talks about it before that. Baalbek was a fucking backwater up until the Romans took over. It was more or less. It was a.
That is bullshit.
Thriving. It was.
Anyway,
it was actually part of the Phoenician dynasty.
Yeah, and
oh,
the
see,
Phoenicians
yeah,
collapsed,
Neil and I have
and then
talked
there was
about
this
this.
long period of time, and then other people.
Dude, he's mogging him right now on like every one of these points.
No.
Anyway, what I was getting at earlier about
Neil knows
symmetry
the sources
made it
so
come
well.
back.
I wish
And
I could do what
Alan
he
Superior.
does as
They
far
were
as like
known as being
recollection goes.
Christian-
I
they were-
need
it was a
I
big
need like
comeback.
There is
PDFs
no
and stuff.
record of
Bring
that.
them back
There's
up
no
to
record.
speed.
That's not true.
There's no record of them building this place. There's no record of the Romans building this place. And again,
But
the
they
Romans did.
talk
Hang
about
on,
it
let me
right
finish what I was
after.
saying. They talk about symmetry. The Romans always use symmetry. We have 3 big stones off in one side. We have 3 big stones in the quarry.
Wait.
I posit to you the Romans were going to emulate what they saw
So
here.
there was a gigantic megalithic
Let me finish,
structure
please.
here,
Let me
but
finish,
no one
please.
talked about it until after the Romans?
Let me finish.
Makes no sense.
Let me finish, please. there's 3 big stones, and they're trying to emulate those 3 big stones by putting something on the other side to make it.
So they could move stones that big then. They were going to emulate these big stones, but they couldn't have made and moved the big stones. That's his argument. Good one.
They go to dig up those 3 stones. They use the Roman foot. Those stones on the wall, again, don't use the Roman foot. I mean, you can argue this all you want. That's a smoking gun. These do not use the Roman foot, but the ones in the ground
I heard him
do.
say
That
recently
right
that
there, I don't know what more
we don't
you
even
need
know what
to
Greek
show
fire
underneath it used the Roman
or
foot.
the ones that are in the ground that are
it
still
was just
they're
napalm.
quarried but never put in the wall. The stone of the pregnant woman and the other 2 big boys over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't, you said?
They do. Those ones don't. The ones in the wall. So the guy. So here's my thing.
That's more evidence that they did it, though.
No, the ones.
That's what I said.
If the Romans put it in there, the ones in the ground have the Roman foot.
Dude, we are cooked.
So
I
here's
am
what I
not-
think happened. Dude comes in. He's tasked with building this site and making it Roman. We can't have them thinking the Phoenicians did it. We can't have them thinking some other civilization did it.
That's
Make
not
it
true.
Roman. So they go and they quarry up
That
3
is
more
not
stones.
how the
Hang on. They
Romans
quarry up 3
culturally
more stones.
colonized
They're going
the
to put
world-
them in there.
colonized the world.
The dude's tasked with moving those stones. Look at him and go, "Are you on crack? There's no way we can move those fucking things." And so they get left in the ground.
That's what I said,
No,
low
okay, then what
income is-
explanation do you
Okay,
have?
First of all, there's examples of Romans taking over older temples and then admitting for example, the temple of Baal Hamon in Carthage. That was a famous temple that the Carthaginians built. They took it over and said, now it's the temple of Saturn. They didn't say we built it. They didn't take credit for it. So there's the whole point.
Neil is making the arguments that I would make exactly like
it.
it. I love arguing with Neil. He's my favorite person to debate ever. We disagree on so many things that it's fun every time.
This
because he actually he like deals with the essence of the argument. He's totally right here. That the idea that that's how the Romans behaved. That they showed up and said, "Oh yeah, this temple here, it's the temple of Saturn. Oh, and we built it." They did not. That's just not how they viewed the world. They based their legitimacy off of basically saying like, we are like we're gonna like incorporate your pantheon and your culture into ours. Basically, that's how they viewed those things. That's kind of what happened with the Judaism, is that they tried to swallow Judaism, and it was like a parasite. It destroyed them from within. That's what happened. They tried to include Yahweh in the pantheon. They tried to put Jupiter stuff, the desolation, all these things, right? Like, that's what the Romans tried to do, and they were dealing with it because it was monotheistic and because it was Judaism. It behaved in a totally different way than basically all of the other polytheistic religions.
When talking about this location until after the Roman period.
And so why did the Romans build the largest temple to Jupiter there?
Because they can.
No. Why there?
Because that was the
because they were building on the biggest stones in the fucking world already, and they had to make it look right.
That's the location where the Greeks already were worshiping Zeus Heliopolitanus. So now it became Jupiter Heliopolitanus. It's this. The location was already a sacred location.
Okay,
that's why they built it.
I agree that the sacred was already sacred. Why did they build the biggest one there? Because they had to match what was already there, which is why they quarried 3 stones to the ground. I mean, again, we can go back to this.
Why would they have to match ancient stones that are there? They could build their badass temples anywhere they wanted. They don't have to go build on top of some ancient things. That's why. Why would they do that?
If I say that this was built by Americans and this was measured out in meters, I got a fucking problem, dude. And that stone you're saying was built by Romans was not measured with the Roman foot.
I don't know who measured it or how they got that size.
You can get the measurements
but I do know from what I've been told from people who study this stuff is that those blocks underneath it are definitely Roman.
Yeah, that's
so you can't get a giant stone above something that's already Roman.
I think a child can see that there's 2 different stages of construction here.
No, that's how they built the Herod's wall. It gets smaller and it gets progressively smaller on top. That's how Herod's wall is built. We just saw it.
Herod's wall was not built identical to that. This is 2 different stages of construction. Similar.
It's very, very, very similar.
You could even say they tried to emulate
smaller. They both get progressively smaller the higher you go. And the pyramid even does that, by the way.
I see someone in chat saying that Neil's Jewish, and because he said something about it on the rabbi on his channel, and I just gotta address that real quick because that is like just a misrepresentation. He was making a joke that part of his family, someone in his family was saying that, oh, we're Jewish, just like everyone talks about and everyone knows that he was saying that part of his family was Jewish to the rabbi. And then later in that stream, he was re-referencing that joke and being like, oh yeah, I'm Jewish, okay? And then you guys take that clip, that 20-second clip, and you take that joke totally out of the context of what he was saying. And then he went and got his DNA test done, and he was completely open about it. It came back like 4% Jewish. And if you want to like say like, oh, Neil is 4% Jewish, and therefore I don't fuck with him, like fine. I disagree with you. I fuck with him still. I don't think he's Jewish. But to misrepresent overall, it is schizo retard shit. That is not what that clip was saying. He was I watched the live stream when that happened, and I immediately messaged him and I said, the schizos are going to be on your ass for the rest of time for doing that joke. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed that joke you just made. That was one of the first messages I sent to Neil, was when that happened, okay? It was a joke he was making to, I don't even remember which rabbi it was now.
Tovia Singer.
Tovia Singer, right.
Too off that.
There's one of these has beveled edges, and one of these is a rough-hewn stone. There's a huge difference in the style of architecture, and again,
but I think that's how they were trying to do it. They're trying to
sure,
make it
you
look
can.
You
good.
want to say 4% is too much, fine, but be honest.
Yeah. You know what Candace would say?
Jew, guilty, you're Jew, doesn't matter.
Yeah, if you guys want to say
4%, doesn't matter.
To me, it's not not a problem. But if it is to you, that's fine. But make sure don't misrepresent it then. Just say that you think because he's 4% that you think he's Jewish. Make sure you're very clear about that. Don't do the clip shit. Don't do
Let everybody know how autistic you are.
Yeah, be fair about what you're saying and make sure you wear your ideas and your like what you actually believe on your chest. Don't fucking be a pussy about it.
The matter is, in my mind, the evidence is pretty clear that the Romans had to have hid. What explanation are there for the 3 stones being left in the ground besides they couldn't move them? I mean, the fucking place is done.
What are you, Brendan? Prove it. Oh yeah, prove it.
They wanted to have 3 more stones to match the 3 that were already there. That makes sense. There's no other. There's no.
Sent $5. We need a 24-hour kitty cam. Can you imagine if those videos start getting millions of views? Lol.
I'll have the kitty cam set up way better for next time. It's gonna be sick. It's nice too, because then I can just go to the cam. I don't have to turn around and look.
Would it be hilarious if you did like a kitty cam 24/7 and it got so popular and then you had to like, okay, now I'm doing the stream, and then like you lost views because it's so many people want the kitty cam.
Yeah.
She's
asleep in my lap, stretched out right now.
Makes sense, especially when you compare the difference in measurements. Now, I'll concede that there isn't talk of Baalbek from before. As I said, it was a backwater. For the most part, which is really weird that they would build the larger, it's a bigger temple to Jupiter than the one in Rome.
Revolver's right.
Why did they do that? Because they had to claim this. And now I understand that you can say that they don't.
There was a Greek structure there before.
Yeah,
it was something different.
But it wasn't nothing like that.
No. I know everyone agrees with that.
And so like,
but it was the temple of Zeus, Heliopolitanus, and that's why the city's called Heliopolis.
Yeah. It was the city of the sun over there even. But they
Scarbina talks about this temple in one of his
people
books.
were pilgrimaging.
Oh yeah.
Eventually,
Lucian,
I can't remember which book it is. I just
on the
remember
Syrian
reading
goddess about Venus wrote all about this place. So
but it wasn't considered. How do you put it?
Don't chimp out, Jimbo.
Until after the Romans got through with it, as far as we know. But
he says he lost respect because I said it's schizo.
When we've tried to move stones like this,
don't chimp out.
In my mind, you can't just say we have a dude who wrote down how to move those stones, so we did it. It's like Catherine the Great moved the Thunderstone, okay? And when they were moving that, she put it on an iron sledge, and they used brass balls to roll it on. And they repeatedly crushed these brass balls, and they kept having to change the metallurgy involved. And now they used screw jacks, iron screw jacks, to lift this thing every time they did it, like what you'd use to jack up the floor of a house.
I've heard people say that the Romans were better at lifting stone than
they can say that all they want, but
than the Egyptians.
They had to. This is at the time when structural steel just began. The tower.
Look at this goy chimping out. I'm gonna go make the goy chimp out.
Okay. Iron buildings were now just becoming a thing, and they took the cutting edge metallurgy and a shitload of resources from one of the richest empires in the world to move one stone that's
Russia was a backwater, you retard. Dude, now, Russia at the time, they did this as a way of like westernizing. This whole thing, this whole event that he's like explaining, the moving of the Thunderstone and Peter the Great and Catherine, all this stuff, this whole thing, it was like them doing basically like their version of westernization and proving like we're just like the other European powers near St. Petersburg, okay? Like to pretend that like they were the pinnacle of technology because they were an empire. Russia has always been in some way like the backwaters of Europe, technologically speaking, backwards, serfdom, like where we sent a lot of our trash and criminals were pushed eastward out of Europe, guys. No offense to people who are from there. I'm being honest.
Dismissing and say, well, the Romans could have. That's great.
But let's
man.
talk about the Romans, though. We know the Romans also carried a 500-ton obelisk from Aswan.
They didn't carry it; they rolled it.
Yeah, I'm saying they brought it there.
Yeah, they rolled it.
So there's ways to bring. We know the Romans are capable of carrying 500-ton weights.
We also know that they left 3.
No, maybe they rolled the rock. Maybe they made something on it to make it to roll. You know.
Big ass stones in the ground right there. And
anybody ever thought about that?
Went on with that site like they didn't do nothing.
What is that? 700 tons or something?
Pretty. Yeah, something like that.
So they tried to break a record and they failed.
Yeah. Okay.
That's different than what them actually
now,
doing.
Again.
Yeah, they always do that. They always say like,
failed.
"Oh, someone tried it and failed," and then their reference to that, like, what? Okay, wait, what are you talking about? Who tried it and how? It's always a bullshit reason, bullshit story, totally made up, totally a different context, taking something out of it, like it's totally bullshit. Every time they do that argument, they do the same.
Yeah, and they did it too. Catherine the Great in Russia moved
the
it.
whole concept is
so what is his argument then?
Well, because the Thunderstone is 1,500 tons, and the biggest one at Baalbek is 1,650. That's, I believe, where he's trying to say is that it's so crazy that they could have done it so far back compared to her, where she was using modern technology and all this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of get what he's saying about that. You know, that's
so they can do one that's 1,500 tons, but not 1,600 tons, though. That doesn't make any sense.
There's like a 1,500 year, 1,800 year difference or whatever it is when they move the Thunderstone, right? So he's saying that even with all that technology, like, I get the argument he's making. I just don't think it supports the claims, the overarching claim that it's evidence of like some advanced technology or civilization or aliens or magic or anything else. I think it's just evidence that the Romans kicked ass. That's what it is, and that the Russians are actually kind of getting like gassed up here.
Shows that the person that walked up on this said, "Fuck that noise."
But it also shows they were doing it though.
Yeah, they were
so
trying
at the very
to do
least,
it. It shows they tried.
Yeah, but if they're trying
and
to
failed,
do it, they might have did it already.
Well, sure, and but that explanation. If I tried to communicate with the Palladians,
it
maybe
makes
I've
more
done
sense
it already,
to me that they
and that's
did
not
it already.
Evidence.
It makes more sense that they did it already. Try to do it again. Maybe realized, all right, this is getting out of hand. Someone just died.
Right, we just crushed 12 people.
Yeah. Maybe, that's what makes sense to me.
Well, sure, and it would make if they didn't change their unit of measurement and shit, that would make some sense to me too. But that part, honestly, the unit of measurement's the sticking point. It's like we measured it out with the Roman foot. Oh, we didn't measure these ones out with the Roman foot. What's that all about? We got different tape measures this week. It's
that's something I never looked into. Why this different size? I would like to see if we could show what it looks like. The final product is beautiful looking. You know what it looks like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just for the audience to see the Baalbek.
The temple. Because
all
all the Atlantis bros always.
I've seen that.
It's
showed me this.
one of the almost beautiful. It's up there with the mausoleum, the pyramid.
This is what we could be doing.
It really
I hope they
is.
show it.
You're looking for a picture from the inside.
Look at what we could be doing.
They have that's what it looks like now. There might be a reconstruction of what the finished product looked.
Wow.
Look at those columns.
Yeah. I know.
Corinthian columns,
they're
gigantic.
Pieces.
Those are 400 tons each.
They're pieces.
Aren't they stacked though, right?
Yeah, they're pieces. Look at it. You can see it. They're
yeah. Oh, the ones in the Pantheon are one piece.
Yeah.
This is what that complex looks like.
Huge.
Yeah. So those weren't 400
Look at
tons.
that.
They were.
No, you're right.
Now, if the Romans had built this thing all the way in the front, that trilithon would be staring you in the face when you walked up that ramp. That's why they built this giant-ass ramp. That's why the columns. Why aren't the columns off to the side? For the same reason.
Wait, what are we
you are
looking
to
at?
feel
This is
blown away.
this is what the whole place would have looked like.
This is
in the time
and the big stones
in the
are-
100s AD or first century.
And where are the big stones?
Yeah,
on the back
Go
side.
back to that.
Yeah,
picture.
this is actually worth
behind the temple.
Oh, this is,
complex.
okay, cool.
This is better.
The big stones are on the very back side.
Yeah,
They're like
I
on
want to
that
show
corner.
the audience
Can
where
we
the stone
can we
is.
pause, Brian? Go back to the the picture from the outside of the place. So I don't know what entrance we just went into on that video. Tell me where the big stones are.
Behind
right
that temple on the right.
Behind the back right
yep.
temple. So it's on the back wall of that temple. Okay. And when on the video, Ryan, are we going into that back building or the front step?
Dude, even if he's right and those stones pre-existed, they could have taken them generations to move it there. Like, this is so stupid.
People still see behind there. It's not like they're still showing it off. It's not like it's just like completely hidden.
Well, no, but I mean, it's like walking into a cathedral and having the main foyer area have ceilings like this, and then you walk into the bathroom and it's just got this gigantic vaulted ceiling that makes you feel 2 feet tall. It completely is backwards as to the whole purpose of having that vaulted ceiling. The whole point of having this gigantic stone is you can't imagine how this was done, sir, so we'll put it in the back. Don't make no sense.
Just looking at how impressive everything is here,
bro.
Lifting a giant stone to me isn't that much crazy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Today, there's one thing people still argue about.
It's like they can make this wonder, the marvel of engineering, but the stone in the back corner, like that's got to be from the aliens or some shit. It's stupid.
Today, debate about the columns.
Do you know during this time period, this exact time period?
Yeah, the other people would like be
Alexandria,
walking through those
Roman
complex, like thinking about that
They
stone.
had
So
heated
insanely
floors.
stupid.
They had vending machines.
Yeah,
that you
well,
put a
drop
coin in
and get so much holy water.
Yes,
or whatnot. Yeah.
they had all. So this was a technologically.
This was like the
advanced time period.
multi-generational
The
project.
Antikythera
This is the
mechanism obviously was
ancient
before
cathedral,
this.
guys.
This is after Archimedes.
The entire economic and cultural output of a people was put into this building, and there's people now in the future who are claiming that somebody else did it. That is so fucked up. And I don't. These are Middle Easterners that made this. Romans, or Middle Easterners under the supervision of Romans. I should be more specific.
All right, Neil won. I'm convinced Neil won.
They know how to do screws.
For sure.
They knew how to do all types of stuff.
They knew all kinds, but they didn't have structural
steam engines. There was Hero of Alexandria built a steam engine.
No, he built a steam toy.
But this technology was lost until later.
Because you needed a flywheel. Otherwise, that wasn't ever going to do nothing. It was just going to spin. You need a flywheel.
So that video didn't show the big stones and where those would have been.
Yeah, the big ones are in the very back. Sorry.
Carrier's book on that is so good. You read it, right? I think you talked about it.
Science in the Ancient World.
Yeah, everyone. If you guys have a thing, a side book you want to read, I recommend Carrier's book, Science in the Ancient World. It's fantastic. It's fucking. It's pro-white. I don't care what Carrier says. It's pro-white.
Man, I've never seen that.
It's
before.
amazing.
All right, I gotta run. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back. Sunday stream, 8 p.m. Substack subscribers, private, VIP, exclusive book review, Zoom call. Be there. Links below. Thanks, everybody, for the donos. Thank you, Amalek, for joining. You have a nice weekend as well. Congrats on the 10K. Well deserved.
Have a good one, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment below. I read all your comments. I want to see more comments. Thank you, Revolver.
57N2 sent $5 on Rumble. What's crazy is because of Christians' destruction of history, we got modern people believing aliens did this stuff because they can't fathom pre-Christian tech.
Right. They have to downplay the pagan Roman pre-Christian tech and go, without the Bible, we couldn't build anything. Must be aliens. All right. Thanks, guys. See you
Make sure you guys leave in the
Monday.
comments how I'm a crypto groiper. I want to hear more of that. That's fun. That makes me laugh, guys. Keep it up.